We're rolling. You're
Welcome.
rolling something. You're smoking stuff.
I don't smoke.
With the
What are you talking
arm
about,
thing
bro?
Ready.
I was just giving a little
Yeah, he's doing the robot.
reminiscent of that the video we put out.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. Episode 80 of the Jiu Jitsu Dummies Podcast.
80, dude.
Yes.
80. That was my code on beepers for Bo.
80,
yeah. Okay.
I used to do the 83805 pesos.
I only know boobs.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And hello.
It's the only one I know.
07734.
Yeah, there you go. Turn that beeper upside down.
I feel like I'm starting to squint like I am high, but I'm not. I am not high.
Okay.
It's contagious.
I have not smoked. I'm Milton Campis.
And I'm
a
running
brown
for
belt,
governor.
training out of South Florida. Bo behind the camera. Say hello, Bo.
Hey, what's up?
Miguel decided to come back for 2 in a row.
2 in a row. No planned family events.
Shout out to Britt Tavar. She's
Hey,
our
Britt.
booking manager and sponsorship coordinator.
And
Hey, Britt, you got to get us a guest.
Yeah. And all around.
Unfortunately, today's guest had to cancel. She got sick.
Yeah.
So we posted about it. It's Sophia Casella.
Yep.
Definitely love to have her on when she's feeling better.
Yeah.
So
Back
get that
to what-
rebooked.
Back
for
to when
us,
she's
Britt?
feeling sick again, but like sick at jiu-jitsu, not sick.
Okay.
You're weird.
Support for the Jiu Jitsu Dummies podcast is brought to you by
Who is it?
MANSCAPED. The best in men's below-the-waist grooming. MANSCAPED offers precision-engineered tools for the family jewels.
I love it.
Ew.
That's cool.
I know.
I love saying it, all right?
I want to say it one
When
day.
do you get to say family jewels? Like, hey,
I like
give me
it.
the family jewels.
The jewels.
You're rolling and be like, hey, you
Yeah.
just hit me in the family jewels. What are you doing?
I feel like my jewels are like less, like, because diamonds are like worth a lot. Rubies, emeralds. I feel like I have like amethyst or something. Like it's not.
And by the way, that my imitation is not of any ethnicity in particular. That's New York.
New York.
That's the way we talk on Long Island. All right.
Is it? Hey, you know what? I went to a Make-A-Wish Foundation
You're
thing
right.
with my wife, and it was sponsored by a bunch of whiskey companies. And then there was like was like this one of the whiskey vendors was up there, the like the bar girl,
Okay.
or whatever you would call her, the presenter of the whiskey, and I was like, where are you from? And then she's like, oh, Long Island.
Long Island.
Yeah, whatever she said.
Long Island.
Island.
Definitely. She's from Long Island. She said
Yeah.
Long Island.
Something.
Long
And
Island.
I was like, how is it there? And she was like, bro, there's nothing there. She was just telling me how there's
Yeah.
like literally nothing in all people want to do in Long Island is get the fuck out of Long Island.
Yeah, you either want to go to the city or you want to go to the Hamptons. If you live
So,
anywhere in the middle, it's...
We used to go to Route 107 in Long Island, where there were a couple of clubs here and there, but the rest of the place was flat and not much. A lot of trees, very much like
we
Florida.
had. I mean, I grew up on Long
Except
Island.
it
I grew up.
wasn't
If
hot.
anybody knows, I grew up like it's exit 63 on the LA on the Long Island Expressway.
Yeah.
Further, there's a couple exits further out from Center Reach. You always say Center Reach.
Yeah.
Who do you know in Center Reach?
So we used to have family friends up
Okay.
there.
Yeah. Well, like exit 63 is, I think, Center Reach was like where our mall, like around like the mall, Smith Haven Mall.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, like a few more exits out, and yeah, I mean, it's like local stuff to do, you know.
Yeah.
But
It's
there
like
was
Pompano Beach.
yeah, like there
Here.
were clubs and bars, but there were small clubs and bars. But I go out to like Huntington. I think it was Route 109, Long Island Saloon. Anybody knows Long Island Saloon? Send me a
don't.
message.
Yeah.
Let me know. I was a broker, and I used to we used to stockbrokers going crazy. We would go out to like that area where the firm was
you guys
located.
were big fish in a small pond, like that kind of thing.
No, we were a bunch of young. I mean, I was in my 20s, and we would just go out and go freaking crazy.
Just go ham.
Yeah, it was usually like the firm would have like a party. You got paid once a month, so like we would go out after that. Like we'd celebrate like the great month usually, and they would like usually pay for a dinner.
Once
and then
a
we'd
month.
stay.
You got a budget.
You're in a club where people are going to come like in their club gear, and you just get out of work on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And you're dressed in your suit. So like girls are coming and they're like, okay, who's this 20-something-year-old or these 20-something-year-olds, a bunch of us in suits.
Yeah.
And it was like you were able to pick up,
Yeah, and they're like, "What do you do?" And I was like, "Have you heard of penny stocks before?"
We weren't able to say, have you seen the movie Boiler Room?
Yeah.
No. Unfortunately, I laugh now, but you don't know. Like they hired kids that didn't know what they were doing.
Of course, yeah.
They didn't want you to have a college education. They didn't want you to be previously licensed.
Have you heard of unregistered securities before?
All right, listen, wait. I'm going to start from the beginning. Let's finish this, Manscaped. I got to finish our shout out to Manscaped. All right, so let's start. We're going to do it again. Support for the Jiu Jitsu Dummies podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped recently launched the Ultimate Men's Hygiene Bundle. They call it the Performance Package. Yeah. They've got a new one coming. We're going to talk about it next week.
Package.
Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for our Jiu-Jitsu Dummies listeners. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with code JJD. Yep. And that's at manscaped.com.
That's worldwide.
All right, now let's talk about Long Island again.
Okay,
now we can talk about Long Island.
I don't know anything about Long Island.
So and you like that whole I was a broker growing up, and it was just it was fun. It's some of the most fun I've had in my life. I moved to Florida as a broker to work down here. Yeah. And some of the best times of my life.
There are some cool places. There's some cool shit to do. There's a lot of good fishing.
I love fishing.
I used to fish in Long Island Sound.
I'll fish all day.
I fished in the Long Island Sound all growing up. My father had a boat. Him and his actually best friend, like they bought a boat together, and we shared. Most of the time, we were out on Long Island, so we would actually he would come out.
You know what I call that?
Maybe he would take it, but he would never really use it, so he stopped taking it. Yeah. But we go fishing in the Sound, man. Porgies. Fluke, bluefish, flounder, bluefish.
Catching.
Bluefish was always fun.
Yeah, but
bluefish was the most fun. We put up like a nice fight.
See, you know what's
I don't like.
Everything that we caught, I only would eat the flounder.
Flounder's
you want
the
to hear
best.
something funny? You want to hear something funny?
No.
So you can catch bluefish here.
Oh, of course,
Florida,
I
right?
catch them all the time.
But they're generally pretty small, maybe up to 3 or 4 pounds.
Oh no, you see
in New York,
big boys.
Yeah.
In New York, in the northern
colder water, yeah,
20, 25 pounders,
25-pound bluefish. Bro, that probably you know what?
That's some big stuff.
You know
I don't think we ever weighed them, so I don't know how much.
I caught a 23 pounder. So
down here, pound for pound, best fighting fish for sports fishing, like if you go shore fishing or even offshore fishing a little bit, is Jack Crevalle.
What is
those
that?
jacks?
Jack Crevalle,
Crevalle, dude, those jacks.
What is that?
I haven't like it's out of the jack family. Like you would notice the shape. Like you've seen this shape before a fish, but boy,
they're really fast fucking swimmers. They have long kind of sharp fins. They have a very thin tail. Yeah, and they're very fast swimmers. Teeth.
Some of the best memories in my life with my family, just really with my dad. Yeah, fishing. I love like fishing. Waking up like 3-4 in the morning. Yeah. Like we got the boat ready the night before, hitched it up the night before. Yeah. Like we weren't leaving it in the marina. There's like not leaving it in the marina.
Ice in the cooler.
Everything was ready on the boat. Like we had like a gate around the property, so like move up when we would have the boat in the back, like way back in the backyard. We'd move it up. It was ready to go.
Watch the sun come up.
And then we just get in the car, basically wake up, brush your teeth, get in the car and go.
McDonald's drive-through.
I always talked about my father was a cop.
Yeah.
And so, he's working 5 days a week with his partner. Like you worked with a partner. Uh-huh. And boom, his partner would come out. And like I'm like, these guys don't get sick of each other. When I think about it.
Not when you're fishing.
They would his partner would come out. I remember his name was Chicky. The guy's name was Chicky. He would come out or meet us or whatever it was, and we'd go fishing. And it would be when I was younger, my sister would come, but then she got sick of it. But it would be me, my dad, and him. And I think Chicky had a son, but his son didn't like to fish.
Dude.
But the three of us fishing for like,
hours
all day.
Yeah.
Sometimes come home at night, and then it was like clean. We'd go to the backyard, clean the fish in our backyard.
You gotta clean the boat. You got to. There's owning a boat is tough.
Best memory. Matter of fact, my mother. Hopefully, my father doesn't listen to this. My mother was like, "Hey, what are you doing on this date?" And she was asking about a date, and I'm like, "Well, what do I have to be prepared for?" Like it's probably a Father's Day gift, but she didn't want to tell me what it was. Yeah. And I'm like, "Listen." Nicely, I was just like in a text. I said, let me know if you're sending us out on a charter so that a couple of days before so that I could take motion sickness. I don't fish that often, but I know that I'm going to need like probably motion sickness medicine. Use it the day before and then you take it the morning of.
Dramamine or something.
And then she told me, she's like, she got us a charter. So we're going to go fishing in July, which we don't get to do together too often. My dad will fish off piers and stuff, but like that was our thing. Like we go out on the boat, go fishing, you know. So
that's dope.
It's cool. Yeah, my dad caught trout, right? There's trout in my backyard the other day. I've seen people fishing in the lake. In the lake, a bass.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, you could catch speckled trout in Florida, but that's a saltwater fish.
He caught a bass. It was decent size,
largemouth bass. Yeah,
like that. And I've seen people fish. I've never seen anybody pull anything out of that lake.
Your dad's got what it takes.
And there's people like, yeah, I mean, he's just like. He's dedicated.
So that's why it's called fishing and not catching.
Yeah. So yeah,
you do a lot more fishing than catching. Yeah.
So yeah, back to Long Island. That's what we did on Long Island, man. It was a lot of fishing. I would go fishing on the North Shore, and I didn't really hang out on till I was an adult, like in my late teens or 20s. Like go to the beaches on the South Shore, which is not something we didn't go to the beach. It was,
I used to go to Jones Beach all the time.
I never really, till I was an adult, really enjoyed that side. We just never. We weren't like I had a pool growing up, so it was like if we wanted to go in the water, we went in the pool.
Other than the AIDS needles and stuff that were in there. The beach in Jones Beach was actually better than the beach in Florida.
Yeah,
nicer sand. It was just huge beaches.
Just sandier sand.
Yeah, huge beaches.
All right, let's give our next shout out to Black Belt Digital Marketing. Anything you need to build your business, website design, Google Ads, graphic design. So that means like logos, business card design, stuff like that. Yeah. We can help. I say we because I own that company. Check us out at Black Belt Digital Marketing on IG. And our website is bbdigitalmarketing.com. You can request a free online review right there on our homepage. All right. Shout out to Neutral Zone.
Hey.
Yeah.
Our CBD sponsor.
Zone.
I spoke to Mike. I was just telling you guys before. I spoke to Mike. They got some really interesting things coming. Some product. I love that. You see me smile when I say it. I love when we can be part of a company like building their brand. I was even giving him ideas. One idea that I gave him, he's like, hey, I can do that. And I think he's going to do that.
Yeah.
I gave him an idea about something to do, and he's like, Milt, I found out I could do that. And
cool.
So I think that means he's going to do it. And he put a box together without the labels, with no logo, with anything on it yet. He's sending us one of the products that they developed.
Interesting.
He's sending it to us now. It was already in the box. He's like these are yours. And
here you go.
Yeah,
it's
so
cool.
it's pretty cool.
It's cool. You get to break wind on things, new things.
Break wind?
I don't think that's how you say it.
I've been breaking wind. I've been throwing out some silent killers for you over here.
Do I need to get a thermal cam and
yeah, right, we should do
film you guys farting over there?
Neutral Zone is a plant-based wellness brand that was created to help people receive the benefits of plant-based CBD, right, and hemp products. You talked about it last week, like we were like, plant-based? Well, isn't everything plant?
Some people, not naming any brands, they'll put other stuff other than
some shit synthetic.
Yeah, synthetic or oils or something like that. You know, in our cutting the product. You know what I mean?
So no matter if your aches and pains are coming from like lifting weights, rolling on the mats, doing jiu-jitsu, or just the daily grind of life, like I'm like this all day at a computer.
For real.
Neutral Zone has a product for you. It's actually funny because Mike, it's Mike and Candy own the company.
I put this on before doing this.
When you said the Neutral Zone thing, when you said like Neutral Zone, like you're finding, he was just like, he got it. It was awesome. He's like, I listened to it. He got it. He understood it. Like we're finding that zone, your neutral zone.
It might be down.
Bring you back to, to that place where you feel good.
The word is equilibrium.
That too.
Yeah.
Find your neutral zone by finding the best products for your pain wellness so you can continue your active lifestyle.
Right.
Check them out at neutralzonecbd.com. Use code JJD for 25% off your order. I like to mention that there's 22% off your order on the website, or you can use JJD for 25% off your order. All right. Yes. Check out their IG. Give them a follow. My Neutral Zone. I didn't say the at there because I know you hate when I say the at.
I don't hate it. You made all that up. I'll just tell you why I don't say
Check them out on Instagram at
yeah, you're still doing it.
Pause.
Yeah.
My Neutral Zone.
Yeah.
Is that
you could do whatever you want.
Okay.
I just say I gave you my reasoning. It's because like the people that use Twitter or Instagram or any social media that requires a handle, they know the ad is given. It's like, okay, do you say like use hashtag $, and then say the.
Oh, you say hashtag.
No, you say
the hashtag is the $.
Exactly. Well, when you use Instagram, you got to use @.
Well, you
can't
wouldn't
just
say
type
you have to say the hashtag so somebody knows you mean. Oh, the hashtag.
There you go.
Yeah, you can say find me at, and then you're gonna say @Milton, right?
Is it almost like saying ATM machine?
It is to me.
Okay, I get why. I get what you're saying.
So you can find me at,
but it's not redundant. I'm not saying find me at.
I get it.
At Sybil, my new.
I feel like you made the thing about it. I don't care about it. I'm just telling you why I don't do it.
Hashtag whatever.
Settle this on the
hashtag.
Whatever.
I forget what it was. I think it was like Saturday Night Live when they did the whole hashtag.
I don't know what you're talking about.
They were just making fun of hashtag.
That recently?
Hashtag. No, dude, this is super old. Hashtag's been around.
No, hashtag.
Been around. It's way back.
There's a hashtag, right?
Yeah.
You can do hashtag.
You could. Pero yo no hago eso. I'm not the hashtag type.
I wonder what's under that if you look it up and see what's cute.
I believe because there's like a couple like hashtag apps that are like trying to like sell you their service, and it's like hashtag.
Well, you could optimize. I think with your hashtags, right?
If you look up hashtag, does every hashtag come up in the world under hashtag?
No, if you do hashtag, it has to have hashtag and the word hashtag, and those things will come up. I'm gonna start putting hashtag on our post and see what happens.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Department.
By the way, let me just say, and this is like, I don't necessarily know if this is like called a humble brag, like when you're talking about yourself.
Let's see, yeah.
But dude, like, I love our guests, and we've had some awesome guests on the show.
Yeah.
And there's, kind of really see the TikTok. I kind of, when I think about this statement that I'm about to say is I see it from TikTok the most because we're like building that. And like most of the time our stuff where it's just you and me does better than those famous people.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that. I don't know why. I don't hashtag it any differently, write it any differently. Not really putting music to things, so it's not other stuff.
That's what people want to see.
You're at the.
Well, no, I mean, like I say we, I should say you more than anything. Like your stuff, your stuff is like resonates.
Talk about jiu-jitsu shit and other shit too.
Yeah, so I have a new client that has actually a radio show, and then they actually do a podcast. And I was talking to the wife; she's like my point of contact, and I said, send me pictures. I have to do a discovery and get the stuff.
Right.
And I said, I was like, what kind of images do you think your husband will want to see? Send me what you have. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh yeah, he loves seeing himself in the pictures and stuff. And we wound up having a conversation about. I said, it took me a long time to make it about me or the guys.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we were talking about ourselves, but when it came to posting online. Like in the beginning, I wasn't posting anything that we were saying. Look at all the TikToks in the beginning is all the guests.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while I'll be like, oh, that was kind of good. And we said that, or we started doing the TikToks here, like the, I think 20 submissions in 20 seconds or whatever.
If I could say, I think it's honestly because it's, we're not doing it to be like, oh, is this going to get the most likes?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the stuff that works out is because it's like candid. It's just like, hey, what'll be, we're more like, hey, what'll be funny? And we're thinking of more like, it'd be funny to share. Well, not more like, what's going to get the most clicks? What's going to get the most?
I'm just putting out now most of the stuff is, I'm not adding music to stuff because I mean, that could get more. Maybe I'll try that a little bit here and there, like a little background music. I've done it on some stuff, but it's been like, there was a reason to add the music.
Restaurant piano.
Well, I'm comfortable with.
And the sound of dishes,
I've been thinking about this a lot. I kind of feel like it's just cool to just put out the snippets from the show. That's the content that we put out most of the time. Yeah. It's very rarely us like making a video. Like
I'm going to do that.
We're not doing it because of time, really, more than anything. Not because we don't want to.
I'm going to do this. You're going to hear the sound of a restaurant with dishes and people talking, and just for a moment, at this moment here, right? Restaurant dishes.
Why?
Wait, there's no camera there.
Why?
He was just talking about like the background noise.
Yeah.
Okay.
All I'm saying is we'll hear it.
Well, I'm saying, but it's like I'm meaning like the popular sounds, the music, like the things that they call trending sounds. And I haven't really done that. I'm like, well, if I did it would, and I'm like, I like that we're just, maybe I'll eat these words, but I like that it's just kind of like the snippets of things that I thought were interesting or I thought were cool and fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm making the point though that it's actually you more than anything have been like the most popular TikToks and viewed content that we've had, and it's just us being honest. I mean, it's
TikTok
people don't know
community.
like this is you. Like I always joke around like I like having you on because like you're funny.
Yeah,
I appreciate you're like that all the time.
it's a gift and a curse because I
remember.
Can I tell you how good? Can I tell you how good I am at sticking my own foot in my mouth?
Oh, I'm sure,
dude. You
like to throw a lot of shit out there to see what sticks.
I've been in like some. I remember one time in my old job, right? Like I had this client, and she was usually always around, and the husband was out working, and she worked more, I think, like at night. Like I think she was more into the art scene, Art Basel type stuff. And, and so, anyways, I was a technician at the time, and I was correcting some audio visual issue, and she just started talking to me. She's like, "Oh, did you go to school or whatever?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got out of the military and I used my GI Bill to go to school." And when I was like, she's like, "Oh, what'd you study?" I was like, "Well, I studied sociology." And she just said, "Well, why did you do that?" Like she showed interest in sociology or whatever. And I go, honestly, it was because like I could just go to class and I'm really good at arguing and I could just make myself sound right. And it was the easiest, most, path. Like it was just like the easiest way for me to go to. It was super easy. Like I would take I remember one class, like we watched The Breakfast Club and then we had to write a paper on The Breakfast Club and the different dynamics of the.
I actually took sociology because I was going to become a cop and you had to.
Really?
You had to.
I took it because it was
like sociology type classes.
So easy. Yeah. So easy. Yeah. It was just like, don't be racist, whatever. So I say all this, and I'm like I'm bashing it essentially. It does have some good use, but essentially it's just be a kind human being and be understanding is the gist. And I just go like, so what'd you graduate? She's like, oh, I have a master's in sociology.
Oh, that's sweet.
So you just told this lady, I just love to argue and it's easy.
I just bashed it. She was so humble about it. Like, and I literally, these words came out of my mouth and I go, hey, Mrs. And I would say her name. And I go, just excuse me for a second while I take this foot out of my mouth. And she started dying laughing, man.
But I remember the moment where I knew that I wanted to have you on the show. And we were coming back from, I think it was No, it was the Jits Kings.
It was the Jits Kings.
It was Jits Kings where we won all those.
All the geese.
We didn't win a bunch of geese. We won all the geese.
We're the undisputed gi winning champions of the world.
Like we won like
undisputed.
5 geese.
Yeah.
And you were in the car. I don't know if you smoked anything. I don't know if you had any.
Nothing.
Anything.
We were in an Uber and I've been drinking.
No, it wasn't Uber. It was somebody was driving. It was like
it was Mauricio.
Somebody was driving. Yeah. It was one of us driving. It wasn't Uber that far.
I was drinking for sure.
And when I got home, I was like, I gotta have him on the show. That he would be great. And then Mauricio sent me a message. I was already thinking it, and then Mauricio sent me a message. He's like, you really need to have Miguel on the show. Back when he was still on, it's like, you really need to have Miguel on the show. And I'm like, you read my mind.
I just want to talk jiu-jitsu and MMA.
But I mean, we were already trained together, so I knew you, but I didn't know you as this like funny person.
Yeah,
that I was seeing. I was just like, is he like this all the time? Did he smoke something? Was he drinking? Or what?
No, not really. That's just me. Yeah. Felipe's isn't like a social hour.
Yeah. Well, I know. But
shut up and do the work.
We were getting to know you, but then I was just like, I went right to like, I want to have him on the show. It wasn't like, oh, got to hang out with him more. Yeah. Like, it was like, got to have this guy on the show. This guy is so
And I was like, I get to talk about jiu-jitsu and MMA. All right.
Yeah.
Dope. Free t-shirts. Keep them coming. Get paid in t-shirts, baby.
Let's finish some of these shout outs. So shout out to our friend George Hernandez at Hernandez Claims.
Hey.
He's a public adjuster who can help you settle a commercial or residential insurance claim, right? You can do that in the states of Florida and
Texas
now.
Yes.
Call George Hernandez today and let the professionals help you get the most compensation possible from your insurance company. Check him out at Hernandez Claims on Instagram.
Yeah.
At Hernandez Claims.
Yeah, go for it.
Or visit their website, hernandezclaims.com. And I'm going to
it's www.hernandezclaims.com.
But you wouldn't say like, okay, the equivalent of that is like, check out their website, Hernandez Claims. Like you can say the .com.
He's not an org or a net or a gov or a mill.
I get annoyed when somebody sends me something. I get annoyed when a graphic designer gives me something back that has www. I'm like, take the W's out. You don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
just HernandezClaims.com.
Yeah. Did you forget to feed your dinosaur today?
And I listen. That's if you go to HernandezClaims.com, it's a good example. If we did like a 1-page website, it's like a kind of like a lead generation site, specifically for the show and for this sponsorship. So we built them a 1-pager with the little contact form. So it's like,
I love learning.
It's an example of something that we could do for somebody. It's not a full blown website. It's just a 1-page. It's really like a lead form. So
I've
really
never heard that word until right now.
What's
and it totally makes sense. Lead form.
Oh yeah, like a lead. It has a contact form and it's like a lead page. I would say like, hey, look, it's just like getting them to fill out a form.
I gotta be like brutally honest with you. I feel like since I've met you, I feel like I've earned an MBA degree, but like from Phoenix University.
Is that am I that bad of a teacher?
No.
I feel like
I feel like I could hold a conversation with like one of you people. You know,
that's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me. I'm a professor.
I'm a Phoenix
at Phoenix University. We apologize we lost all of our Phoenix University fans.
What are you talking about? No, man.
Anybody who does jiu-jitsu and and went to Phoenix University.
All those people who have $300 and a printer and an internet connection, go for it. They're like an accredited university now, I think.
Yeah. Well,
what's funny is that was the joke back in the day. That was before like the internet was the internet, you know. So it's like, well, you go to college on the internet. You could go to Harvard. You go to Harvard. You go to MIT. I take MIT courses on the internet. You know, how funny is it? We've talked about this a little bit. How funny is it that everybody ripped apart in the beginning? Used to get bashed.
The Gracie University.
Yeah, for that.
Right. For having like, oh, you can give a blue belt. You're giving a blue belt to somebody that you've never rolled with or trained or has never been to your school. And look at things now. Yeah. Forget about the belt side of it, but just like the learning online that you could do. And with the good partner or a good grappling dummy, I mean, you could really learn and hold your own. Yeah, you're going to have to roll with somebody eventually, but you could really learn a lot. How many of us used dummies during COVID and kept our jiu-jitsu on point?
Even better. How about you go to like an open mat or it's the roll session at the end of the day, and then the guy that you've rolled with a ton of times hits you up with something new. You know, because you know how jiu-jitsu is at your gym, you know, like, you know the guy.
Yeah.
You know? And he hits you with something new, and you're like, oh, I got something new to think about. And you're like, and mid that move, you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
What is that? That's not you.
You know,
and they learned it online. And I mean, that's legitimate. And they're trying it in real life after they drilled it at home.
I haven't mentioned him in a long time, but I will mention him now. Jason Scully, the guy behind the Grappler's Guide, grapplersguide.com. I've actually got my lifetime membership. You pay once and you have access to their videos with high level people. Like, this isn't a commercial for them. They're not a sponsor.
Yeah.
But to this day, when I wake up, when I'm not hurt and I'm going to an open mat on a Saturday or Sunday,
that's your review material.
I get up, I just go to like Play All, go to his channel, Play All. I'll usually get to I like his videos. He's got tons of tutorial videos, but funny enough, and I haven't watched him yet. I love his like videos that are like 53
Kimuras.
53 like 53 leg locks in 5 minutes.
Golly.
Or like 40 takedowns in 8 minutes. Like, so
I found those videos. Do you plug something in the back of your head?
But it was just like him talking and narrating them fast. In the beginning, it says, look, this is not a detailed instructional, but it talks about he'll show himself rolling with a partner.
Right.
And it goes pretty fast. But the thing for me was I didn't have to learn everything. I wasn't there to learn everything.
That's an option.
I go, when I'm in that position, I could do that. And I'd be like, I'd catch little things. So I'll wake up Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
I usually have a coffee and something light to eat. And I put that on. And it's just like I'm going back and forth getting ready. And I'll be and like I just let it run. Sometimes I'm watching it. Sometimes I'm just doing other stuff. Mm-hmm. It's background noise. But those are the most awesome videos. And he recently launched a new page specific to those only. So he has he has Grappler's Guide.
Got it.
And now he's got like Striker's Guide and all these other sites. Mm-hmm. He opened up a YouTube with just those videos.
There you go.
With those like 50, 40, this, that, XYZs in 40 minutes or 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes. He even has, and I like this, and I still go back to the same ones, solo drills.
Yeah.
Like an 8-minute solo drill. But if you watch it.
Like a mobility type thing.
Yeah. Like I would have, like I couldn't even keep up with it most of the time. Like I would, next move. Okay, now let me do that move. And then, okay, let me go to the next one. So it'll show you a bunch of moves in a short amount of time. But then like you could take it and do it as warm-ups. But it's like all the like, kind of warm up stretching type stuff that we do.
Right.
But great solo drills, all, obviously jiu-jitsu related. So I love him for that stuff. And I still watch those to this day. And look, with 53 moves, I'm never like, I'm always learning something new. I'm never like, oh no, I hit all 53 of those. Let me go to the next one. It's never like that. Got him. Done.
Got him. And don't forget to use code JJD to get rejected at his website because he's not a sponsor.
I do. We actually had him on. I've even told,
now I remember.
I've told
that was back
Britt,
in the day.
I'm like, there's some really good conversations that I've had with people when we first started.
Yeah.
Or when we were, we didn't have the audience that we have now. And I've told her like, hey, look, I'd be happy to have just about
little redos.
Every guest that we've had on.
Yeah.
I would there's nobody that I said like, no, don't ask him though.
Yeah.
Like we could just go right back through and start sending out some invites to those guys. It'd be great to have them on. And, we would start from a different place. It wouldn't be like, so tell me where you learned about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
When did you get your start?
No, I mean,
talk about like what's going on, something new, and then reference back to the original. Like they can look at the first
3
video.
years ago, jiu-jitsu was in a different place.
Yeah, man.
It was.
Like, again, that's what I was saying with the Gracie University stuff.
Yeah.
Those guys got ripped apart for the longest time.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, other than the giving belts, I think was the thing that was really bad for them. But other than that,
hindsight
everybody's
is so 2020 that the guys who pioneered the sport were trying to pioneer something else and got shit for being pioneers when they've been pioneers the whole entire time.
How cool. Talking about, I'm sorry, you made me think of something else, but Richard Bressler.
Okay.
Right, we had Professor Richard Bressler on.
Yeah.
He wrote a book that we had him on for his book.
I don't think I was on for that one. Was I?
I don't know.
The only
mid-COVID.
book guy I've ever had was Drysdale. Good book, by the way.
I'm still reading it.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it's big as shit. I don't read it.
I bring him when I have nothing. When I have nothing else to do, like on my phone.
Yeah,
I bring his book with me, and then I'll like.
Hey, Robert,
I'll read a couple.
Robert, just give me a call like once a week and just read to me for like 30 minutes.
I would do better with the audiobook, but it is a great read.
I wonder if you could pay him to read it for you.
Yeah, that's called an audiobook.
I want to Zell him money.
I don't think he can pay him enough. So I want to give Professor Bressler a proper shout out. His book is called Worth Defending: How Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Saved My Life. A memoir by Richard Bressler. He's coming back on. Okay. So it was cool. He reached out to me. He kind of like was telling me about it, like a subject that was like something that he was thinking about. He wanted to. It was like, you can call me anytime you want. You can come on. Yeah. Like the first full-time Gracie student calls you and says he wants to come on the show. You tell him yes.
That's how you know they're humble.
And look, and I don't know if he listens to every show. It would be great in my mind, because every guest has always led us to something else. Like even him mentioning Robert Drysdale a few times. I knew who Robert Drysdale was, but him mentioning it led us to like, hey, throw him an invite. Like it's always led either in conversation or by introduction. Jiu-jitsu. We've always met somebody else.
Jiu-jitsu is a small world.
Well, he's always training with Henner.
Yeah.
And Hedon.
You know those guys?
So do I?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know who they are?
What are you talking about?
Henner and.
Yes.
Yeah. They're pretty good.
I hope that you're joking. Well, look on his Instagram or follow him, or if you know anything about jiu-jitsu.
Hey, can we talk about those two guys?
He still goes to their gym. He hangs, he sees them. Yeah. Well, I thought about, my point was, I was just like, again, every guest has kind of led us to a place where they mentioned somebody or even introduced us to somebody or said, hey, follow this guy. And then they've been a guest on the show. How awesome would it be to have, Henner and Hedon either together or separately?
We wouldn't get
those would be amazing
We wouldn't get a word in. we'd be wearing his hoodies too. Like we wouldn't talk. It would be their show, and then like we would just be like taking off our hoodies,
putting them in backpacks,
and then back. Just that's all we'd be like the Kent Peters videos, the guys in the background.
Yeah.
That would just be us. They would just talk, and then we would just do the hoodie thing.
It would be amazing to have them on. That would be like
huge fan, by the way. I just love talking smack. Hey, here's something I thought about. Right, there's a couple things that you don't cross the line on in jiu-jitsu that I feel like it goes across the board, and I'm wondering if this makes the list. If you are a non-Gracie school, right, which is like, you know what I mean, right? If you're a non-Gracie school and you have green mats,
ooh, yeah, that's not like
that's a no-go, right?
Is that almost like you can't have an octagon and run an MMA?
Yeah, you can't have an octagon and then have a trampoline class running.
No. I'm saying like I think like the UFC has the rights to using an octagon in an MMA show. Like you never see another octagon. It's either a circle or like a
polygon.
Pentagon. Yeah, it's like other shapes. But nobody has. You can't other than having one maybe in your gym that you buy like for training.
No, yeah, but you can't host an event.
Can't say octagon. Octagon is exclusive to UFC, I believe.
I think it is, but that's why you can see it in their promotions. Like their other promotions that they have, they'll have octagons.
Okay,
right? Because you see, the amateur fights, and stuff. Like
so you're talking about
Invicta, like those girls fight in an octagon,
I hadn't even noticed.
Those are UFC promotions.
So, like
a lot of people
I know their Fight Pass promotions, but like does UFC have?
But the UFC is on Fight Pass. That's why Submission Underground is in an octagon because it's a UFC.
Okay.
So your UFC does own it, but so like a lot of people don't know that like the UFC has like essentially the AAA of baseball, where they have that all female league like Invicta. And then
they actually own that? I mean, Invicta was its own organization.
Well, they gobbled everything.
I mean, I knew that for a long time that they were like pulling fighters from there.
Everything that you see on UFC Fight Pass is UFC owned.
They have a hand.
And then you have like Bellator, and then you have
you got
one,
and then
you have
Eddie Bravo and
Eddie Bravo Invitational. Yeah, they got a deal.
I mean, but that's the thing. They have a deal or ownership. That's two different things.
You don't see Eddie Bravo stuff in the octagon. His is always in a raised mat. That's a deal.
Okay,
that's not owned, but Eddie Bravo pioneered jiu-jitsu for MMA.
Okay,
bro, like you cannot give him his respect. He also tapped out of Gracie.
This is true.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that. All right. Let's not forget. Look, we're still doing shout outs. It's
While
like 30 minutes
wearing gi pants in a no gi match.
Let's not forget Sean and the crew over at Flow and Roll. Hands down, the best custom gi and no gi gear in the business. Don't believe us? Visit them on Instagram at flow_n_roll and check out all of their custom designs. They work with academies across the country.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not going to go too far into it, but ask them about their pre-order program for gyms and academies.
Teach out.
If you're not reaching out and at least understanding what he can offer to minimize the cost out of pocket for you as a new or older gym owner, you're crazy. Call him, reach out.
Market's wild right now.
You can message me. I have the graphic that he told me I can send out. I'm not going to post it publicly.
Yeah.
But he says if anybody reaches out, you can send them this, and it lays out the cost. You look at the cost and you're like,
oh, you got the white paper?
I've got the information. So reach out to me if you want to know. They do wrestling singlets now too. I know Art of Motion. Right? He wears all his gear.
Yeah.
Out of the Falls down here in South
Florida. Those guys are good.
Yeah, those guys. You always see those guys everywhere.
Yeah, at the tournaments and stuff. I was blue belts with like one of the other blue belts there, and I think he's already like a brown belt.
Yeah.
Man,
you suck.
I do suck.
You could find out. Oh, you could find our podcast tee on their site as well. Podcast tee, the keychains. I got to show you the design is coming together. Hold on. The Peace Love Jiu-Jitsu. I'm not going to tell. The Peace Love Jiu-Jitsu.
Is it done?
Rash guard is coming together. I saw the first designs, like hand-drawn designs by the designer. We marked it up, and I spoke to Sean. We had a nice long meeting about it.
Yeah.
Said, add this, take this away. And now it's going for its second draft. I've been telling people, anybody who is like submits questions for the show, like we'll give them gear, right?
Yeah.
So I told one or two people so far, it's just like brand new. Hey, look, I can send you a podcast to your mug, but if you wait, give me like 2 months, I'll send you the rash guard.
Okay.
Which is like more expensive anyway, but I really would like to start giving those out. So,
Right.
so you can have whatever you want. So you got a pick of the 3, but if you want the rash guard, you're going to have to wait a couple months and be patient, you know? I think we'll have the design done in the next like 2 weeks. And then then we can go to print, and it's going to probably be a month before we have anything in our hands.
I just want to know what it looks like. You're so secretive. You haven't even told me.
I'll show you.
I don't know
I'll
what
show
it
you.
looks like.
I know. I'll show you.
You've been talking about
you want
it.
me to show you right now? You can look at it while I do some. Yeah.
Live?
No, I'll keep on doing some of the shout outs, and then you could look at this. I mean, it's hard to kind of really tell because it's so marked up. It went like the guy went a little too military with it. I don't want it military.
Yeah.
But there's like a military element in there. I don't want to say what that military element is.
Yeah.
But there's like a military element in there because it's like we're saying peace, love, jiu-jitsu. And
that's
like,
a 60s comment or something.
It's a throwback a little bit to a movie, but I think people would probably get a handle on it, but it's not so much. We got away from it. All right. So these are... Okay, so I'm going to let you look at this. These are the original that he sent us, but that's not what we're doing.
Can I just open that whole text? Are you okay with that?
What's that?
Because I could. Do you know how to go to all photos on a phone?
Oh, okay.
Within a
Yeah.
text?
Yeah.
Just go there, scroll down a little bit, and then go to see all.
I'm going to let you do it.
Yeah.
The ones that are marked up with the handwriting on it, now that's like the newest design, but we even got away from that, but you can get an idea. So, again, you can find our podcast, see on his site. Our rash guard will be on there soon. Go check them out at flow_n_roll on IG or visit their website, flowandroll.com. Again, you get 20% off with code JJD on the website if you're ordering your products online. That's not 20% off of your order or your bulk order for your gym, right? So it will not work for that, okay? Thank you to the BJJ box. Hopefully we'll have a new box soon. They are Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box. It's delivered right to your door, filled with premium Jiu-Jitsu and grappling apparel. They'll send you equipment, supplements. My favorite thing is that little spiky ball for my feet. They send... jiu-jitsu supplies, snacks, and tons of different products. You can keep it there. They find the best jiu-jitsu products and guarantee that, they're finding the best products and sending them out to you, but they're guaranteeing that every box will be worth more than what you pay. So it's, you can have the VIP box, and then there's I forget what the name is. There's another box with a rash guard. You can have a box come every month, every 3 months. So really cool.
I
Check
like
them
that.
out.
That's a cool option
With the rash guard.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. Again, get between 4 and 7 items. I was getting this. We're getting it now again because they're sponsoring the show, but I had this box for a while.
I remember.
And it says 4 to 7 items. I don't remember getting less than 7 items. Like it's always
packed. I remember because you would bring me on the podcast and you'd be like, "Here, bro, like take this."
Yeah.
You remember like the wrist shaking thing?
Yeah.
I wore that thing out.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Not like that. Come on, man.
When you talk about like the actual products that are in there, and then they'll give you like coupons, exclusive coupons to like websites, instructionals, different things like that. Remember the Kristen Woodmansey?
From the last one. We were all collectively confused.
And what was that tape that they gave us?
the kinesiology tape.
Yeah, the kinesiology.
They got the word easy in it.
We had the kinesiology. There's lots of stuff. I can't remember ever getting less than 7 items. Again, when you include everything, even like the options to buy certain things or coupon codes to instructionals. But I even think I've gotten like sheets of like stickers that I had on the computers. Like, it's just amazing.
You could just say they're doing a good job, and you get more than they mean it. You get more than what you pay for, right?
Coupon code JJD10. This is the only one of our coupon codes that has more than JJD. It's JJD10.
Right, you get 10%
for $10 off your first order. And again, we've got some cool stuff coming from them and some more unboxing. So our giveaway. So we are going to do a giveaway to anybody who sends us. Give me the phone. I have the timer on. We're going to do a giveaway to anybody who sends us a receipt from any of the companies that we
JJD
shout out,
or JJD10.
Any of the companies that sell their products online. send us a copy of your receipt, redact any credit card information if it's there, which it shouldn't.
Or personal
and
stuff
yeah,
you don't want.
send it over, and you will go into a raffle. You've got to be using the coupon code because that's how they know that you're coming from us.
Right.
Send us that receipt, and we're going to do a raffle.
Yeah.
And the first raffle is going to include $250 worth of jiu-jitsu swag.
Got it.
And it's going to include that rash guard that we're going to do. And again, it's the Peace Love Jiu-Jitsu rash guard.
I'm excited for it.
I know it's hard to see what it is there.
I got it.
What'd you think of like just kind of like?
It's pretty dope. I like the second revision where you went from one side to center.
Yeah,
I like
he
that.
took. Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot there that we didn't want there. He went like a military. It wasn't meant to be a military.
I gotcha.
But because there was like one military element, I think the designer kind of said, "Well, let me throw in all these other military." And said no.
Hey.
One of the cool things is like the one piece that I'll share is Peace Love Jiu-Jitsu, right? Heart.
Yeah.
Heart attack.
Yeah.
So there's that heart. I wanted a real heart.
Where does
on there.
jiu-jitsu fit into this?
I'm about to tell you. So they have the heart. Did you see the hand on the heart?
I did.
Did you see that it's like this?
Yes.
Did you notice that?
I did.
I thought it was grabbing the heart,
No.
and then I realized it was like that.
Yeah.
So it's like this.
Hang 10,
yeah,
baby.
but it's like a skeleton hand. It's really cool. So lots of cool elements. I wanted like peace, love, and jiu-jitsu represented in different forms, right? Because you got peace, or you got the peace symbol.
Yeah.
Right. You got
you could use a
jiu-jitsu or like a
dove.
triangle or people rolling, right?
Yeah.
But you got like those multiple symbols, and then you got the heart. You got the heart, the real beating heart, right?
Yeah.
Or the hand symbol. So I wanted the different symbols represented in different ways, and it's not just like written out. It doesn't need to be written out. But those elements throughout the rash guard.
Or it could be
it's coming together really nice.
Owen Hart, the old wrestler.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah. Not really worried about any of them.
I'm just saying, if you had Kevin Hart on there doing his stamp, like that could be Hart.
I know where you're going with that.
WWF before WWE.
So, again, unfortunately, this is just about the time. I'm 44 minutes in.
Yeah.
We would have done the beginning part probably a little quicker.
Yeah.
We would have got to our guest.
Mixed the podcast. You mixed it together.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking.
This is,
and we're talking
this
about
is-
sponsors,
this
but
is
normally
how it
we would be introducing our guests. But we've been talking about doing like a solo podcast for a while. We wanted to do something. We have, again, loved having the guests on. We have a lot of fun doing these. What?
1 second. Before we actually really start the podcast, I really got it.
we're not really
doing.
No. I mean, like, we just finished the ads. I really got to pee.
No, we didn't finish the ads. That was the podcast.
Okay, yeah, but I could really got to pee.
Go pee.
It's bad.
All right. We'll cut.
Holy shit!
You know what? Let's just take a quick break. I'm going to fill up my beer. Welcome back, everybody. No, I know you don't want it like that, right? we took a quick break because we
don't have to tell everybody why we.
Yeah,
you know,
why not?
Why not?
Be honest.
It's
We
not
took a
about being
break to
honest.
take a piss
Yeah.
because we've had a couple of beers.
Yeah.
And we needed to pee. Here you go, bro.
Exactly.
Listen, bro. I appreciate you.
Cheers.
I love having you on.
Same.
And have a ball. This is my favorite day of the week.
Thursdays are fucked.
Listen, next
Funny
time.
that you say that,
Dude,
but
can I tell you where I
at the
was
same
yesterday?
time, I'm like, but they're not fucked. They're like the best day.
Can I tell you where I was yesterday?
Where were you yesterday?
I was at the Panthers game, Game 5.
I don't follow, but I've heard some other people say that like
But we're number one
like
in the league, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're in the playoffs. But anyways, me taking my whole family to the Panthers game is I would be like, remember Tiger King, who's like, I'll never financially recover from this. That's me. But anyways, so my brother couldn't make it, and so I went with my sister. My brother-in-law couldn't make it.
Okay.
So I went with my sister.
Okay. The one that I met, the one that we watched the fights with.
Yeah, Adria.
Okay.
Yeah. And they have club seats, bro. They
What is
got like you go up there. I knew I didn't belong in there as soon as I went there. You go up and they check your ticket, when you get in. And then when you get up the escalator, they got to check your ticket again.
So what did you sit in a box?
And no, it was called like the Corona Club.
Okay.
You walk in, it's open bar, whatever you want.
Okay.
And then they have buffet style. Like there's like a person cutting turkey and a different person cutting. There was a person per meat. Normally
They do that in the boxes. I don't. What arena is that? That's
the FLA arena. Yeah.
on Sawgrass.
Yeah, it's in Sunrise.
I've been there, and I've been to a few arenas. I won't go into how, but I used to go to a lot of
gotcha.
events and stuff with a person, and so I know
selling
that's
penny stocks. I got it. And so yeah, I had a really good time.
selling penny stocks.
I'm just joking. I just immediately always go to the worst thing that you could possibly do. You know, if somebody.
Okay, so wait. So what happened? Tell me about the.
It was just like, dude. It was
just talking about it was expensive.
Well, yeah, but I got super lucky because my brother-in-law couldn't. I call him my brother. But
okay.
It's weird.
But your sister came
and I just wanted to share with you that was like an experience, man.
So, but what you're saying, you're lucky that he didn't come. Why? Because it would have cost you more. What do you?
Oh yeah, a ton. That's it. There was no point to that.
You
story.
gave her.
I just want to tell you that I went to this Panthers.
We are in Florida, and there are probably a lot of Panther fans. We have a lot of Florida listeners.
Yeah,
I don't watch it. I've been to a couple of Panthers games. They actually sponsored a company that I worked for. They were not sponsored. They were. We advertised with them. The company advertised with them, so we were. Had our logos all over the place, and we had the mascot come to the office one time.
Really?
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Funny story. I was dating the receptionist, and he was there. I don't even know what
the
his name
receptionist was. A guy.
I was dating a receptionist. I was dating a woman who was the receptionist.
Yeah.
And
it's cool, man. I don't care. You can follow him at.
And the Panther, the mascot was at our office because it was like part of, it
was the package.
It was part of the package.
Yeah.
He came out and like we got to take pictures with him, and he was walking towards me.
Yeah,
I think she had taken a picture with him. Like she was walking away from him.
Yeah,
and when she walked by, I slapped her on the ass. I didn't even think about it. It's my girlfriend.
Yeah,
who just happened to be in the office. It was like a company that was building, so it was like we weren't super rigid. It wasn't. It was like a brand new company.
Yeah.
Again, I was a broker, was raising money for the company. So she walked by, slapped her ass, and he just comes like, he goes like that with his paw, like his reaction. He throws it over his mouth.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it. I'm like, I didn't. But it was the funniest thing. And like he went and grabbed her and was just like.
HR.
Like this, it was hilarious. That was a good memory.
He played HR.
I went to a bunch of games. I went to a game, and I sat behind the goal on one side. I was the first row behind a goal.
Oh man!
And like they switched, and like it was like there were like 7 goals scored in that game.
Wow. That's a lot.
And like all on the side that I was on because they're switching, right?
No, not all because they switch every other time.
No,
but you were first, second.
I'm just saying no, but the team kept on scoring.
Oh, even though it didn't matter who it was.
So on ESPN that night, every time there's a goal, I'm like, like you see me behind the goal.
Because you're right
I'm
behind
that
the
guy
goal.
behind. Yep, I was that guy behind the goal. Yeah, like I played hockey all growing. I played street hockey all growing up.
Same.
So I loved playing, but it was never a sport that I was like, I gotta go to watch. And like I was an Islanders fan, but I didn't really I wasn't like that into it. I never really got into anything until boxing and UFC. Yeah. That's where I really found my passion. That was the sport that I
would have 100% would have loved to play ice hockey. It just wasn't economically feasible.
Yeah, I just played street hockey. Then some of my friends started getting into roller hockey, like on rollerblades, and I just wasn't. I just the kind of stopped. I started working. They were still like hanging out on this, like playing.
Yeah.
Hockey in the front, in the street. And I was like starting to work, and I was like totally into. I wanted money so that I could get girls.
Yeah.
So I could start dating.
That's valid.
This brings back painful memories of ice skating.
How?
And so we used to play hockey once.
How are my good memories bringing back bad memories for you? Tell me.
No, so I'll tell you. I used to love ice skating, and I always had really nice hockey skates. And we played hockey once in a while. We would clear a spot on this lake near my house, and or we would just fucking skate. But somehow or other, because you're fucking around, you're pushing each other, and you're doing
playing
stupid
tag
shit.
or whatever.
Yeah. When you fall on your knees, and it's like cement. It's just very slippery cement. So every
time I fell on skates, I fell backwards on my ass.
You fell backwards. I fell forward. I fell forward onto my knees all the time, dude. For years, my knees were. I don't know how my knees are.
Yeah, that's why your knees are bad.
Yeah. My knees are fucking. Oh, you fucking suck. That's wrong, bro. That's
so. Moving on from his sore knees.
Soreness.
So
sore knees.
I've been out. I have a client I just spoke to today.
Yeah.
BJJcops.net. This guy's named Brendan. He does lots of like events like seminars
Yeah.
for law enforcement around the country. And he was sending me some new work. We do a lot of design work for him. And he was just going, hey, well, how you do? We talked about work. And then it's like, hey, how you been? I'm like, oh man, I'm still hurt. I've been out. He's like, oh, what happened? I'm like, oh, kind of, pull the groin muscle and, kind of like got better. And I got the cortisone shots for my shoulder. And then that got better. But now I went into train and now the belly hurts again.
You broke your taint.
He was like, as soon as I said, like I pulled the muscle, he's like, month and a half. I go, what? He goes, month and a half, easy. Anytime I've pulled my groin muscle, which has happened before, happened a couple of times, month and a half. I'm like,
he's got it.
And I'm like, dude, it's been 3 months. I went back. I trained twice in 3 months. It's
That's bad.
Fucking killing me.
It's killing me. I haven't trained in like 3 days.
Really? Yeah.
I've been running just to kind of like do something.
But it's being able to lift. I know what I can do to lift where it doesn't bother it.
Yeah.
And then there's certain, like, I definitely can't do, like sit ups or any kind of like core.
Yeah.
But I can do like chest, tries, shoulders, arm, like without. Sometimes I'm in a position I'm like, ooh, that's hurting. Or if I'm like, I can't do flat bench like with dumbbells because like to get up.
Yeah.
Like
you got to drop
without
the bells.
without them.
Oh,
just sitting up.
Sit up.
I went to the doctor.
Roll off the bench.
I went to the cardiologist. Well, that's what I have to do.
Yeah.
I have to go to the side because if I like try to lift forward, it hurts.
Yeah.
I went to the cardiologist and they had me like lay down for the EKG, and I have to change doctors, so I had to go. And she's like, "Okay, lay down. I can lay down." I'm like, "Oh, that hurts a little bit laying down, like just like without flopping back." And then when I had to get up, she's like, "You can get up," and I'm like, "Okay, hold on." I'm like,
"Can you roll off?"
After they actually like all your medical conditions. I didn't mention that, so I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mention." I pulled the groin muscle,
yeah,
and I said I have to like turn to the side, and then like pull. I do like if I can get my foot under something, to pull myself
leverage.
up, yeah, and then I get up, and she kind of laughed. I was just like, it still hurts. I didn't even think about it going down. Like, okay, this is gonna hurt when I get up.
Yeah,
but yeah, it sucks. It sucks, and everybody said the same thing. It's going to be a few months, but I'm like, after the cortisone shots, I felt good. I was just like, I can go train. This is great. But it's like it's masking the pain, but it doesn't mean that the thing is healed.
And then you make it worse.
And I made it. It hurts more now than. Well, it doesn't hurt. My leg doesn't hurt anymore, but it's right in the belly. But like under my belly button, like below the belt line.
Yeah,
above the ding-a-ling.
That just sucks, bro.
Yeah, it's
lower abdominal. Yep.
So I'm like, so tell me how it is to train. And you haven't trained for 3 days, and 3 days, you're feeling it.
I'm feeling crazy. I okay. Look, like perfect. I'm not even joking. Like perfect world scenario. Like after jiu-jitsu, life feels so good. I wish that I could like wake up every day, do a class or do a light training, but just jiu-jitsu related, and have my day. And then pretend that I could do this again. Like, I wish I could do it twice a day.
You want to hear something shitty?
No.
So I got better. All right. I went to train. And Alex tells me, hey.
Which Alex?
Big Alex.
Okay.
Older Alex.
Yeah.
It's big, I guess older Alex.
Yeah.
Older Alex.
No, they're both purple,
and
right?
Andres.
Uh-huh.
Andres ex Felipe.
Is back.
Andres ex Felipe.
Yeah.
If he could start opening the school in the morning. He's like, he wants to do morning classes.
Executive classes.
Maybe if you want to call them that. I guess Alex had a little bit of a say, talking to him like, who are we going to invite? He's just like, probably no white belts. You got to be like blue belt and above.
Yeah.
He tells me about it. I'm like, I'm in. I've been like Saturday, Sundays are my favorite day to get jiu-jitsu out of the way in the morning. I feel amazing getting any workout done, but jiu-jitsu in the morning, Saturday and Sunday every week. I love it. And I'm like, I'm in. Count me in. Let me know when you start. He sends it. I'm like, bro, fucking, I went last night. I got hurt. Pain is back. I can't do it. Shit, I've seen him like him and it's just him and Andres. So like sending pictures, like, working out in the morning.
Every morning, yeah. Oh, so dude, I did see that. I would
love to. Yeah, that's them. That's morning training. I would love to go back, or when I go back, to do that in the morning.
Yeah,
get it out of the way. And funny enough, I talked to my wife. I'm like, I wake up, I'm ready. I'm full of piss and vinegar, ready to go. Yeah. I'd love to get a workout in the morning. And then I was like, finally had the opportunity to jiu-jitsu in the morning because we haven't had morning classes at our school in the longest time.
Right.
And then I got hurt again. So, sucks.
Is what it is, bro.
But we'll see what happens.
That's why we're the dummies.
So I think we're going to title this one like the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies episode.
Yeah, it could be whatever. I really did you watch any of the UFC events?
No, I did not watch the full card.
Yeah.
But I saw I saw some of the stuff.
You saw the highlights on Instagram.
Rose Namajunas is probably my favorite, not only my favorite female fighter, she's like one of my favorite fighters to watch.
Was that
as bad as everyone says it was as far as performance?
I would say for the casual, yes. And then if I'm really bad, like I listen to the interviews and everything. And then Rose at the end of it, I mean, she was like, what, I'm not allowed to be defensive. I just have to go out there and it has to be a bloodbath every single time. I can't have a defensive fight. And honestly, I'm a fan of Carla Esparza as well. She's been in the game just as long. They actually were the ones. She was the original belt winner, and that was the fight, the original fight. Yeah.
And she beat her on the Ultimate Fighter. Right?
The Ultimate Fighter
Esparza beat Rose on the Ultimate Fighter.
Exactly. That was in the finals. Right? That was for the belt. It was the inaugural belt.
Well, is that when they fought? Is that what they fought? Is that them fighting?
The season ended, and they introduced that belt on that one.
Yeah. Okay.
And So like, I mean, she's done it for the sport, for a long time, and she's been in it a long time. And I would call it a one-sided technical match. And I think Rose was correct in what she said. But yeah, to the typical person who wants to see Justin Gaethje versus a Jaguar every single time, it wasn't. It wasn't anything exciting, but sometimes that's fighting. You know what I'm saying? It's like you watch a Floyd Mayweather. This is my 2 cents. Floyd Mayweather fight. If you're not a fan of defense, you're not gonna like his fights. He's a defensive fighter, and but he backs it up with all the shit talking, right? So like he makes
the other way around. He backs up the shit talking with fighting.
Yeah, he's a great fighter. Obviously, he's undefeated.
Hey, Bo. Don't forget.
And, but yeah, that was a good fight. Charles Oliveira, absolutely, like, just so bad that he missed weight.
Because now the belt is
vacant. It's a vacant belt, right? Because Gaethje got worked,
Yeah.
His worst nightmare came true, and he got a backpack.
Yeah.
The old Brazilian backpack.
He'll never...
That's not what he said.
I'll never tap. He said I would never tap. He said he would never tap in a fight, not to Oliveira.
Yeah, to anybody.
Well, I'm saying Gaethje said it,
You're
right?
dead, you're dead,
Yeah.
He could have gone out like Michael Bisping versus GSP. One of the most gangster things ever.
Yeah.
He thought about tapping, and he didn't. And then he's like, I'm just going to go out. That's what the count did.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay.
He tapped. Gaethje did.
Well, okay, so Gaethje taps, Rose, not such a great fight.
Yeah.
And then what was the other bout was Max Holloway.
Yeah, no, Max Holloway did not.
Not Max Holloway. Who about
You're confusing me now. UFC.
Yeah.
It wasn't Max Holloway. If it's Max Holloway, I'm gonna feel so bad.
It's Max Holloway.
No, it was Michael Chandler versus Tony Ferguson. Holy smokes. Dude, Chandler, man, you can't count that guy out. And El Kukui is, I mean, if you don't love that guy for whatever he says, the only thing that sucks is that like he went hard on the paint.
Yeah.
Telling Dana like, hey, you don't pay the fighters, blah, blah, blah. You told me I couldn't play baseball.
Well, Dana White talked about, like, does he still have a place? And he's like, yeah, of course he has a place.
Of course he has a place, yeah. But
I think Dana's letting these fighters get away with talking all that smack.
Is what it is.
I think he's just like, whatever, I guess they got to say it.
Yeah.
There's nobody going, I'm a fighter and I get paid plenty. Like, there's not even a champ that's coming out saying, like, I'm making don't pay me anymore.
Well, the yes men are the ones that are getting paid pretty good. But whatever, that's everything, Like, that's always going to be a thing. And just being objective, not taking anybody's side. Dana White's point is like, if I did that, if this was like boxing, like we would be out of business. It's not a sustainable business model for what we're doing. Same reason why they don't have a lot of belts. You know, because if they had more belts, then they'd have to maintain a bigger roster.
And with the amount of fights that they put on.
Yeah,
right.
Which is now almost
pay-per-view
every
a month,
week.
and like
and then 3
and fight nights,
nights.
And, right? Is it one a week now? Is it?
It's damn near. Yeah.
Right. I get the fact that it's not a sustainable business model on the pay-per-views. Okay, maybe you're already paying the champ. There were 3 title fights. Those were 3 title fights or 2 title fights.
Ferguson wasn't a title fight.
The Rose fight.
Rose was a title fight. And then the Gaethje was a vacant title, but Gaethje could have
going into it was supposed to be a title fight.
Correct.
So when you're looking at something like that, I mean, you can't possibly have 4 events a month or 3 events a month and be paying. I mean, I guess you could, but look, they're a public company, right? They're part of a public company. You have investors to answer to. And you can't do it. It's not like privately owned.
He's a businessman.
Yeah,
he's got to keep it up and running. He's also a promoter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They got all these weird
They sold that company for what? 4 million, 2 million, 4 million, whatever.
I don't know.
Billion. They, once you get over
it's like Zuffa,
1 billion, you could be paying the fighters more.
Right, yeah, but then like what about the argument during the pandemic when he was like, I kept this show running. I didn't furlough anybody. Mm-hmm. I paid everybody during the pandemic.
Okay, that's one event. Like, I don't think that's...
And then, like, how many times...
let me pay all fighters less.
How many times have you heard Dana like, oh, I paid the funeral costs for that? Remember the fighter's daughter who got kidnapped or whatever?
Okay,
and then murdered,
Brazil, right?
Or something like that. Yeah, I'm sorry for not remembering, but... Like how many stories there are of Dana White?
I never even heard that story.
Oh, dude, he's done so much like charitable stuff to people.
Okay, but
but
devil's advocate, how much money did he make from the sale? I mean,
a ton.
Is it the company paying for it? Is it him paying for it? He's got the money.
How hard is it to beat Dana White on a daily basis, though?
Yeah, okay, but
the stress
still,
level.
Okay, so this is what I think. I'm not just an advocate for paying them more. I don't know what each of these guys get paid, and when you talk about, remember, take half of that away, more than half. Taxes, your cornermen, your gym, your managers, like everybody's taking a piece. What's left after everybody gets their piece? I'm going to make a point. What I would, as a almost 50-year-old man, I realize now looking back, it's security that's more important, right? It's your time, your family, your health, and security. So like a pension, some type of retirement program for these guys that like
insurance.
I'll use my dad as an example because it's the example that I know. Right, my dad, he's got a pension from the NYPD. Right, he's got that pension. I don't know exactly how it works. I know that you could choose to like carry like take less, but then like I think your wife can continue to get your pension if you passed away. Like you have the option of choosing how you want to receive your pension. But my dad, knock on wood, he's in his 70s, 76, 77, and he's going to have that. It gets paid for the rest of his life. He worked 23 years as a cop.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, God, the guy retired when I was like fucking 16, 17 years old. I'm almost 50. I'm going to be 49 next month.
Yeah.
That's like security.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's
what the fighters are looking for.
Those fighters are putting their fucking health. It's a choice, but they're putting a lot on the line. Their mental health, their physical health.
Dude, how quick?
We've seen legs get broken. I just think that those guys should receive some type of benefit. Like if they're like fighting X amount of fights or for however long, like give them something that it's not very difficult for the UFC to give them some type of long-term benefits, either medical or some type of retirement program, 401k, whatever. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they don't do, but I know those fighters are not happy. And a lot of those guys are going over to Bellator, PFL, bare knuckle,
bare knuckle,
and bare knuckle is like the
it's a cash cow. I know
that was probably a bad one.
No. I know an ex UFC fighter that was like, I'm going to take this bare knuckle match because they're going to pay me so much.
Yeah,
and they don't, and it's not like so in the UFC, it's like, hey, I'm going to pay you $20,000, and I'm gonna like me and you are fighting. We both get $20,000 no matter what, but whoever wins, it's double. That's how the that's
bare
in the
knuckle?
UFC. No,
in UFC.
And the bare knuckle match that my buddy was telling me about, he was like, "Hey, it's 40 grand, win or lose."
Yeah,
and we both get that.
Who's the buddy? Can you say?
Oh yeah, it's Eric Shelton. I used to.
Okay.
He's like ranked number 30.
He was the guy that calls like Showtime.
Yeah, Showtime. Shelton. Yeah. Shout out. Yeah, he was in the. I mean, I hope he makes his comeback. Here's the thing, though. It's like the UFC is so prestigious. He's working his way back. You know, because he was ranked number. They cut him when he was ranked number 13th in the UFC.
Yeah,
you know, and
how did you meet? Because you
neighbors. So I lived in Coconut Creek.
I
literally lived. It was like Eric lived next to me. Rosenstrike was across the street.
Okay.
The girl, the giant man Rosenstrike. Yeah, he was definitely across the street from him.
Yeah.
And
Creek because they were all American top
team.
team.
I could run to ATT from my house.
Oh wow!
Okay. Like I lived.
Oh, is that and that's how you met him? Just being neighbors?
Just being.
How about
neighbors.
Juan Puerta? The same thing? Was he in the area?
So they're all friends because they all train at ATT.
Yeah.
And between Juan Puerta, he didn't live there, but he was always over.
I saw the picture of like he had Matt, like you had the three of you were like in a room in a house with mats, like it looked like a bedroom, but it was just mats. Was that?
That was my house.
That was your house?
Yeah. Oh, no, that was Juan Puerta's house. That was his garage. We were training with a female fighter.
Was it the garage? Because it looked like it was straight up like a room. Like
it is a room,
bedroom.
but that was his garage.
Oh, okay, all right.
And it was a bedroom. You're right. And
it was a bedroom.
It was a bedroom. Yeah, there was a closet. And it was so weird, man. So like in that neighborhood, there were so many not UFC fighters, but just fighters from Bellator. Because, you know, ATT has a stable of fighters across all over.
My sister lives over there.
All over the promotion.
She lives on the Parkland side of that.
So they're like, hey, man, come on. Let's, you know, he's got kids and stuff. They're like, hey, come on, man. We're all going to the pool or whatever. And I'm going to the pool with all these MMA fighters.
Yeah.
And I look like this. And they're all just like, they never wear shirts. And they're all ripped.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like, God.
Yeah.
Man. But yeah, that's how I met him.
How quickly have you met him? Were you like, I do jiu-jitsu guys? Or was it like immediate? Like, hey.
Eric never wears a shirt. Ever. Ever, bro. Even when he would, like, when I barely knew him, he would come over to my house with, like, no shirt on.
Yeah.
And I was just like, bro, you can't.
Come around my
You can't stop with this because you got my kids. My kids are like, why does he look like that? And you look like that. Why does he look like the toys that I play with? And you look like mashed potatoes. You know, like. I was like, Eric, you got to put it. Once I got to know him, I was like, you got to put a shirt on, bro.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That dude would go anywhere without a shirt on.
So Juan was just always over his house?
Yeah. They were all friends, you know what I mean? They trained all day together. Yeah, they jived pretty good.
How much? I mean, I don't want you to speak for him, but I know Juan did the
Contender Series.
The Dana White's Contender Series.
Yeah.
And I told a whole bunch of people to watch it, and then I didn't watch it that night.
You didn't, yeah.
I told my brother-in-law, my dad, everybody. Like
I watched it.
My nephew. He won his fight. But he didn't.
He won the
fight.
fight.
Dana White at the end of those shows, like basically like awards contracts, right?
Yeah, he said he didn't.
I've never watched the full.
He said he didn't. Yeah, so like, yeah, you fight, and sometimes two people will lose, and they both get contracts.
Yeah,
and then sometimes one person will win, and nobody gets the contract. And I think it was a very tough, very technical fight against another very high level technical grappler. On top of that, because Juan Puerta's like a world champion black belt.
Right?
Yeah. And it was a very
when
tough
you say
match.
world champion, is he like an IBF champion?
Yeah.
He's got a gold. Okay,
I think
level?
so. Yeah. I think definitely, yeah. And so Dana's statement was just like, your fight, you could have done more, is essentially what he said.
And now he's
Juan,
like 13, 14-0. Going into that fight, was he like
here's my
10 plus
11 or 12.
He was undefeated
like
in he's ridiculous
like
amount of fights.
2-time champion at Titan FC, I think, and then he's also fighting for like Combate, which is like the South American promotion, and these are UFC, I believe, promotions as well. And I mean, I know the guy, and I watched the fight. Obviously, I'm a little biased because I like him, and he's a really nice guy. He's a hard worker. You know what I mean? And but like, his style of fighting really it looks unorthodox. Like, it doesn't look like he could fight. Like straight up, like just being completely unbiased, it looks like you could whoop his ass if you fought him. But as soon as you start fighting him, you can't beat his ass. Like, the dude is good. Like, he's good. He's freaking 13-0. He's not beating cans, you know? But I mean, again, I think that's the dark side of of Dana because like Dana knows like maybe his style's not entertaining for the UFC, which is a hard pill to swallow. But I think it would be because it'd be like the whole Patty thing. Like Patty's fighting with this stupid haircut that's made him famous. He's famous for three things. A, being a phenomenal fighter, having a great chin, amazing grappling.
And a funny haircut.
He's got a funny haircut and he could gain weight like no other. Like he's literally like 150 pounds one day and then like 210 the next. Like
so
he's so fat.
I'm listening to you, but you made me think about something.
What's
I
up?
got to see. I don't know. Have you noticed the schedule? What the schedule looks like?
Our schedule?
Yeah.
No. I'm like 2 weeks ahead.
We got some locals coming in.
Okay.
We have the owner, the CEO. I believe he's the owner too. The CEO of a local MMA organization coming on, and he's going to be in house. We've got some youngsters that are going to be on. I don't want to say the names because we always like to confirm before we. We've got somebody that we're gonna be interviewing from Australia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
is it Volkanovski?
I'm not going to tell you who it is. I'm not going to say him on air until they're confirmed.
Yeah.
But yeah. No. So I was going to say, I don't know why we're not. I know why because we have busy lives. We got to get to some of the smaller MMA events around here, like you mentioned, like Titan.
I like them in here.
Is it? No, but I want to go see like.
You want to
go to the organizations?
Yeah, let's
go to some of these fights.
Dale.
The crew over at
the goat shed people?
No, the plantation guys. Jesus, I told you my short term recall is horrible.
John Way.
John Way and his team got a couple of belt holders and one of those.
Yeah.
Is it LFA? It's not LFA.
I don't remember the promotion name, but yeah, it's the instructor that's there.
But I think they've got a couple of titles in a few of the local organizations.
Right.
I told them, I'm like, let me know when the next one comes up. I think there's one. I know there's a bunch coming up, but I want to go to some of those. I mean, we both love MMA so much, and the only reason I don't watch more is because time,
life, yeah,
life, family. But we should.
Let's do it.
You're down to go if we get some tickets? Okay,
I'm down to do it.
I can get some tickets or we'll buy some tickets, but there's some cool local events, and they're like some up and coming fighters.
I'm down.
So what's the deal? What's the deal with Juan? Where's he fighting? Because you mentioned
I think he's still
Showtime is going to be doing
Combate, and then
he holds a belt, right?
Yeah.
And do they film down here in Miami? They film in Miami, right?
I think in Miami, and they do like Dominican Republic. Yeah, fights like that. He's always back in the homeland in Colombia. He's Colombian as well.
At the end of every fight, you'll see no matter good. Well, I mean, he's always winning. But he's on the beach with that big ass hat.
Yeah,
and
well,
like a margarita.
That's like a traditional Colombian. That's like if from Colombia, like if you remember Juan Valdez, like the coffee, he had that hat and then like the white clothing and then like the satchel type thing. So it's like a traditional type thing. He's a proud Colombian. Like he's more Colombian. Like when I hang around him, I'm like, man, I should be more Colombian sometimes. Yeah. It's like I'm more like anecdotal with my Colombian history.
When did you move to the U.S.?
I wasn't my choice. I just want to say I was 7.
They made
my
you
mom
come.
made me come to Miami. Yeah,
Why?
I was like 6 or 7.
Was there a reason?
Yeah, you know that like the marriage didn't work out, and my mom was just like, "It's like I don't even want to be in this.
I don't even want to be in the same country." It's a bad breakup.
It was one of those, I think.
Shit.
She was like,
I don't even want to be in the same room with somebody once in a while, but country.
Yeah. Wow. I just think Colombia also at the time when I was a kid was very volatile in terms of violence. And I remember
trade, right?
But I think like one of the last straws I think was like there was a lot of like bomb threats, and they were also doing like a lot of like kidnappings for money type thing.
Yeah.
Just to kind of keep business alive. And
nice business.
Yeah, and I grew up pretty wealthy. But when I moved to Miami, I wasn't. So yeah, a story my mom told me is that I guess we were supposed to grow up in Japan. And
that's a leap.
And last minute at the airport, my mom switched the plane tickets from Japan to Miami.
Okay.
No, literally when she was leaving at the airport. My mom flew all the time. There's pictures of my mom like in front of Concords and stuff like that. Like,
so is it like you were at the airport with your dad
going
to Japan? Or that was a choice? Japan or Miami?
No, my mom had friends in Japan.
Okay. All right.
She still doesn't speak English.
Okay.
And she lives in Miami.
Does she speak Japanese?
No. What I'm saying is if we moved there, I swear she probably still wouldn't speak Japanese.
She'd Spanish.
She'd still be. She
No,
would
it's
have found.
different. She's getting away with it down here. Where does she lives in?
She lives in
down here?
Yeah, she lives in Miami. And
Okay.
then, well, now she lives more like I forget what it's called, like Hemingway Point or whatever. It's like exit 9A off of the.
But she's
Turnpike.
down here.
Yeah, she's. Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You go anywhere around there, and it's like, hey, does I can get it?
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh, I'm sorry, and they're like, oh, what you want? You know?
That's me. I'm like that.
Yeah.
No, speak Spanish.
No, the French fry. Yeah, it goes like that.
So last minute, you guys wind up here.
That's the story. I can't remember that far
Yeah.
back, bro. I'm
Wow.
sorry. Yeah,
No,
that whole,
you
and
don't
then
have
we
to be
moved to
sorry.
I remember the first meal I ate in America was McDonald's, and
You
I still
told me that story
and I
before.
still remember the toy. I was like, what? Because they didn't have that down there. You know what I'm saying? I was
free
like,
toy.
I was like, first of all, I don't know what a hamburger is, and I just had that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is the best sandwich ever. And then I remember it was like the moon toy, I think, at the time. I mean, I remember the toy. I just don't want to go into detail about it. And then I remember not living in a nice neighborhood. And then I was like, I used to have my own maid.
in Colombia.
Yeah. We both my sisters and I, we each individually had our own maid.
No,
yeah.
really?
And then there was like a head maid for the maids. Yeah, there was like
Shit. You want to buy half of a podcast?
Huh? I told you that was before. I think she like literally like she was just like, I'm done, bro. Like, get me out.
That's a big fucking leap.
Yeah, mom's a G. I love my mom.
That's a gangster move.
My mom's a mom.
Yeah.
And so just grew up in Miami.
You ever
And then-
think about what would it be like if I grew up in Japan? You'd be
Sometimes.
like a freaking ninja.
I feel like I ended up there anyways. Like I grew up watching
Samurai.
anime.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up drawing like Dragon Ball Z stuff all the time. I got Asian inspired tattoos.
Yeah.
You
Was
know?
that like a thing in your household?
Asian.
Is it because of
I mean,
were things Asian inspired?
No,
Like,
not at all.
Not at all.
No, I ground beef and rice every day. And beans. No, my mom does love the Asian culture.
Yeah.
We go out for sushi all the time.
Sushi. Is that what you called it?
Yeah.
Sushi?
That's what we call it now,
Yeah.
just because it sounds cute when she says it. Yeah. No, you know what? My mom really did like the Asian culture. My mom had nunchucks growing up. I remember I would kill myself with them all the time. Bro, they were solid black wood and they had metal studs on them.
Yeah.
They were like brutal. They were like a mace almost.
Yeah.
Man, I jacked myself up with the bro.
I remember my dad, I think he like confiscated, like he's supposed to turn them in, I guess, but as a cop, like he confiscated some nunchucks, but they had like a padding on them. They were wood underneath, but it had like this padding on top.
Probably like a safety. So
like
when you wanted to go,
I guess like of an amateur
mode,
maybe in practice.
Yeah, and then hard mode is you take them off.
Yeah.
I had
always had
none
like,
of that.
he had a he had a toolbox full of like always like with regular tools, but they were always like knives, like little knives that he would confiscate and like not turn in.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dad.
Nah, man, that's cool. I like that. He took them off the streets.
I wonder if there's some like money buried in the backyard.
No,
like a big drug bust.
Did you ever get into ninja stars?
I had friends that would get them. Hey, look, I got I didn't get. I was never into them. My parents. We talked about BB guns before. I was never allowed to have a BB gun.
My mom hated guns.
I got like a
slingshot,
a bow and arrow.
Bow and arrow.
It was
got
like
that.
with dull arrows.
They're called field tips.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Field tips.
So like I was kind of like the same way my mom with
That's the closest
weapons.
I got to a deadly weapon.
So my kid has a compound bow. My kid has all the Nerf guns. We have
little
nunchucks,
safer.
Nunchucks.
Is it numb or nunchucks?
Nunchucks, but I say nunchucks, whatever.
Nunchucks.
And
he just likes to
we
be
got
different.
swords.
He said numb a couple of times. I'm like, isn't it?
Nunchucks.
It's because I say nunchucks. I don't know.
Okay.
It's tomato, nunchucks, whatever. And we got swords at the house. Those are fun to play with.
Swords,
like
real swords,
you know,
or Nerf swords.
They're toys. Swords.
Okay, so that doesn't count. I want to know the deadly weapons that you have in your
Deadly
house.
weapons.
You're talking about stars.
We're working our way up. He's
Okay,
seven,
stars, and then compound bow.
I never had all
and then
that.
he says Nerf guns. Like, that doesn't.
Hey,
That's
some
not
of
in
these
the same
Nerf
category.
guns are hitters.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got one that's like an automatic Gatling, and the bullets are like this big around, man.
Yeah.
Those things hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, they come out. It's battery operated. It winds up. It's like, woo. and then you press the trigger. It's like that. It's pretty dope.
Hey, so let me change the subject real quick. But Bo is the only one hasn't talked about it. You're gonna talk about your Manscaped experience on the next episode. You told me, is it here? Where is it?
Yeah, it's right there.
Let's knock it over. You told me that you're going to next time we come not to touch this. That you're going to actually use
It's got to be used.
Well, hopefully leave it in your apartment. Don't bring it back up.
Yeah.
Leave it there.
Manscaped.
But you're going to be telling us about your experience.
You want to
So I know they got some new stuff coming out. We're not going to talk about that stuff till they come out. We should be having some.
Milton.
You haven't tested this yet. You have to test this because we have some new stuff
Hey, Bo.
that's coming that we're going to test. So you have to catch up.
Bo, can you back me up on this? Is he like excessively secretive all the time when it comes to stuff like this?
What is that called? It's like
I don't know. You're a mysterious man.
Well, you know, we just told you. You know what I'm talking about. But we said we can't talk about it on this
I
episode.
know, but
yet.
you like saying like I can't talk about it.
It's just liability issues.
Liability.
Because if I tell you, I'm gonna have to kill you.
I got it.
I mean, what do you want me to do?
Understood, sir.
You know.
We could tell you, but we'd have to kill you.
Movie magic. This all got
So
taken out.
out of all this, so you were telling the story about the ball toner before. The Manscaped ball toner.
Yeah.
What did you say? Was it last night or today?
I don't know.
You said
I say a lot of stuff.
you do. You said something about like I was on my way here and I used the ball toner.
Oh no, to the game because I had worked all day.
Okay.
You know, so I shot like 2 shots in the front, and I was like, I throw one in the back. I threw one in the back.
Do you?
You know. You know.
Did you?
I didn't have time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
swipe? Oh, of course. It's always the credit card swipe.
Did you swipe in the back too?
You salute.
Did you
know? No, I didn't.
Did you swipe?
No.
In the back? You didn't just drop it in your underwear.
I need
you
it.
You can't. It's liquid. You got to rub it in.
No, I used the spritz.
Oh, that's the other one.
Yeah,
that's not the ball toner.
No,
that's
that
this
one.
Yeah. That's the crop reviver.
Yeah, I was reviving.
Okay.
I wasn't toning.
Well, you said the ball toner.
I told you I just finished. I was working.
Right.
I was working. That's what it was. That's why I talked about the hockey game earlier.
Yeah, that's what
I was like. I just told you that story to tell you that. You were bragging. I was bragging that I can't afford my own tickets, so I had to wait.
I'm a fan of the ball toner because I never leave the house. I never I take a shower, put my underwear on, and I put powder. So I've always put something to
powder
to keep the
the
boys off the legs, you know, and
I feel you.
And you know, I'm sitting all day. I'm sitting all day, like working at a computer.
Spritzer's good though.
Yeah,
yeah.
You don't like?
I haven't tried them. I've been trying them as I'm using. I'm gonna have to. It's it's getting close to time.
You know the cologne showers. You know the name for that, right? It's like a Persian shower. You know what I mean?
Just lost all our. That's
I only care about one place, and it's Denmark. Let's go Denmark.
You don't like it when your ball geckos against your leg. Yeah.
Yeah, when it's like
it holds on.
Gecko.
Yeah,
I get it. I know what you mean.
It sticks to your leg.
Like,
because they can go.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to have reptiles.
It's like the Garfield in the window.
Yeah. Bro, you remember when Garfield was the most popular?
That was the most popular thing, and you ever had a Garfield in the window.
And then it turned into like Calvin peeing on whatever they didn't like. Like if you drew, like whoever thought of that business was like, "What, you don't like Chevy? Okay," and it would just be like kid peeing on Chevy. You know, you don't like Ford? Okay, it's like, could you imagine that? Like buying, like, could you imagine like you're a fan of this one sports team, but you had to buy your jersey for your sports team from the sports team you hate? You know what I mean? Like if you're a fan of the Heat, but all your jerseys were made by the New York Knicks.
I don't get why you.
Because like the Calvin thing, it's like if you buy the Calvin peeing on like Ford Automotive.
Okay.
You know, it's like, oh, screw Ford, you know, Chevy, you know, found on Roadside Daily. That's what Ford stands for.
Oh, you're kind of saying like you have to.
But it's like
you're buying
the kid.
You're buying Ford.
You're buying it from the same people who sell it to the Ford people who buy it to the Chevy people. They're like, it's like you're buying it.
I don't think anybody's putting that much thought into it.
That's why I don't have that sticker on my car. You know, I want like if I get it from like I don't like that car manufacturer. Yeah. Because I like mine better. They should only sell.
We're gonna come back to Ford in a minute.
Yeah. Are we? So,
let's finish our shout out to So I'm using the ball toner and in lieu of the baby powder.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's definitely different.
Yeah.
Right? It's just
smells way better.
Yeah, you feel like, okay, this is, you know, I don't like powder gets on the floor in the bed. Like I have to go. I have a nice walk-in shower.
Like
so I have to do it in the walk-in shower so that the powder stays in the bathroom.
LeBron.
You know? Yeah. No. My wife fucking is like, why is there powder everywhere? So I've just like now I was gonna go in the shower, put the powder on.
Are you ever like first you get the money, then you get the power?
No, I've never said that.
And then you're like.
He takes me everywhere. He's worse than you. He's definitely worse than Bo. You're worse than Bo.
With what?
Because Bo, we're here, and he takes me all the way.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about
powder.
my balls.
Yeah,
and you brought us to Tony Montana and cocaine.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
He says worse, but that's just what I do. So I mean, it's the best at what.
So listen, guys, check out. I can't even do this seriously.
What does that say about him? He hangs out with two guys that do the same thing to him.
All right, guys. So I'm just gonna check out Manscaped.
Check him out.
I'm sorry for this shout out, Manscaped.
No, I'm not.
I gotta. We're gonna let that one go. But
20% off.
Go ahead.
20% off. Use code JJD.
Always, everywhere.
Always,
I
everywhere.
think that you could probably step into an Uber and get
free shipping anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world.
I want somebody to test that. I want somebody that lives in a really weird part that never gets anything from nobody and go like, I'm going to order it to prove them wrong. And then I want Manscaped to prove you wrong.
All right. So get 20% off and free shipping with code JJD at manscaped.com. Again, that's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code JJD. Unlock your confidence.
That's right.
And always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
Right tools for the jewels.
That was before.
Yeah.
This one's different. This is
the
just
family
for the job with Manscaped. Got to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So let's Ford.
Ford.
Back to Ford.
All I can afford.
I wonder if anyone on Easter Island ever ordered something.
There's no people on Easter Island.
No, there are.
There's no people on
Easter Island.
Is there like
on Easter
one
Island?
Easter lane?
Yeah, no.
Easter Island.
You know when you go to like the Galapagos and stuff like that, you have to bring a brand new pair of shoes.
Why?
Because they don't want you to walk on that soil with you could have a seed from a plant from where you're from that's invasive.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they've had invasive issues for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like invasive animals or plants?
Invasive animals.
Yeah.
People, sailors brought all kinds of shit, pigs, wild hogs, which destroy everything.
Oh, yeah. Access deer, weird stuff there.
Bad.
That was a long time ago, though.
No, but
Galapagos is one of the most. I thought Galapagos was more. That's Easter Island. I think you're talking about. I think the Galapagos.
Easter Island and Galapagos. I'm thinking Galapagos
is where the Galapagos is where the invasive issue.
No, that's one of the most well preserved. I thought it was one of the most well preserved places.
They did that. They did the heavy duty conservation. They got super strict, like militaristic about it, because they have a hog problem along with a few other invasive species.
Okay. I just thought it was just try to be kept as
it's a group of islands, and the other islands, one of them is the one where everybody goes for the wildlife shit, and then the other islands are
for the iguanas.
No, they're inhabited. They have people there. Yeah,
I got to brush up on my island information.
I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, fucking been dreaming.
We talked to the island boys about
it. Mandela effect. The Mandela effect.
Yeah, the Mandela effect.
Otherwise, it's the Mandela effect, where I remember one reality and.
Yeah, that's every day for you.
That's likely.
Yeah.
Ford.
Did
you see the picture?
No, man.
I posted a picture of the car coming off the assembly line.
I am so glad.
I'm very excited that my Bronco is on its way.
It's red, huh?
Yeah.
They showed it red. Yeah.
Did they write you a personal letter?
I did red because I like red.
Cool,
red, yeah.
And the school colors.
Here you go.
The gym colors.
Yeah.
Red and black. I love red and black.
It's like a Ferrari.
Have you ever watched one?
It's my two favorite colors to wear, you know?
Yeah.
And it was very specific. The colors were very specific to the type, the kind of Bronco you were getting. I got I did the Wild Track because the next model up was already sold out. They did a limited edition. I forget what the
I've never picked out a
super
car.
limited edition version of. Hey, this is the first time I did it. Last time I'll ever order a car like this. No, I'm not going to wait a year and a half and not.
Did they write you a letter?
No.
Sorry,
You know what they did was they somebody mentioned Jason. I said I spoke to Jason Burke yesterday. Yeah. Jason sent me a message, and he was like, "Oh, look, I saw all of these Broncos out in Moab, in the Moab. How do you say that? In the
Moab?
desert?
Yeah, desert.
The Moab
yeah.
desert, right?
Yeah.
Utah.
I believe they do a lot of races out there.
I don't know if I'm assuming this was if you see all these Broncos. I don't know if there's enough Broncos out that it was coincidence that all these Broncos are like showing up like it's a club. But what Ford did was they did this excursion. You can go and I never looked that far into it because it just was across the country and I wasn't going to go.
That's a hike.
Was you can go and drive the Broncos that they have and like climb rocks and I know a guy that I grew up with that has a Bronco.
Yeah.
And he did take advantage of it. He's in Florida on the West Coast and he went out and he's gone more than once.
Like a Bronco owner.
They only offered it to, from what I understand, they only offered it to people who ordered and were waiting. And now if you're an owner, you could still go.
Right.
So it was like their kind of apology for the cars being late. Yeah. So they started this thing. So they give you kind of like all these little perks and stuff like that. But Jason showed me the picture and I'm like, I think that's this event or this excursion, let's call it, for Bronco owners that were waiting on their car. So I never went. But now the car is supposed to be here at the end of the month.
Bam. So. I'm sorry this took forever. Here's your car.
It's a long time, man. To not. We wound up buying a car that I shared with my daughter. I didn't want it, but it was going to be her car to take away to school anyway. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, all right, let's do this.
That's a good idea.
Right, little kind of happy medium.
Break it in.
Hey, look, we got more to talk about. I got to pee now.
Yes.
I got to pee. You got to pee again?
Really?
I love it.
Huh? Absolutely.
Thank you to DD214 Fightwear, gear for patriotic rollers. Visit their website, dd214bjj.com, and get 15% off your online order with code JJD. And check them out on Instagram at dd214_Fightwear. Thank you to Ep.80 IT and AV, specializing in commercial and residential automation, security cameras, CCTV, POS, and more. Check them out at feitoitav.com or call 305-428-2515 and let them know the Dummies sent you. Thank you to Neutral Zone CBD, a combat family-owned company that supports athletes and the people who love them. Neutral Zone strives to deliver clean CBD products for sports recovery in gummies, lotions, balms, roll-ons, and more. After a competition, a hard rolling session, or a tough day on the job, Neutral Zone has a product designed to help you reduce inflammation, increase cell rejuvenation, and may even help with aging joints. Visit NeutralZoneCBD.com and get 25% off your order with code JJD. And follow them on Instagram too, at MyNeutralZone. Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box has now joined the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies Podcast. The BJJ box is delivered to your door filled with premium jiu-jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, and more. The crew at the BJJ box find the best in the world of jiu-jitsu and guarantee every box to be worth more than the cost. Each box includes 4 to 7 items you're going to love. Visit thebjjbox.com and use code JJD10 to get $10 off your very first box. And give them a follow on Instagram at TheBJJBox. All of us here at the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies would like to thank the entire crew over at Flow and Roll for their tremendous support. They're renowned for their incredible t-shirt designs, and they've got something for everyone. Flow and Roll quickly rose up to become the premier custom apparel provider for academies, big or small, throughout the United States. Shoot them an email about your custom order, flowandroll@gmail.com, and they'll be more than happy to get you hooked up. Check them out on Instagram at flow_n_roll for samples of their gi and no-gi kits. They conveniently offer flexible payment options, too. Head over to flowandroll.com for more details, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu-Jitsu Dummies signature tee, now exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your online purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD. Special thanks to George Hernandez, Claims Adjuster. Have you experienced damage in your residential or commercial property in the states of Florida or Texas from flood or fire, storms, theft and vandalism, even sinkholes, just to name a few? Don't get stressed out dealing with your insurance provider. Call George Hernandez today and let the professionals get you the most compensation possible. Visit HernandezClaims.com or call 305-712-6751 to get help now. And stay in touch with them on Instagram at HernandezClaims.
In a world where
How about,
you usually do that after you do that. You go,
how about just
in a world.
continue?
In a world. What?
In a world
In a world.
where you drink some beer.
Dude.
And have to pee a lot.
You're
You know what
fucking pee.
I'm low-key excited for?
What?
Avatar 2.
Is that finally coming out?
I think he's doing 2 and 3 at the same time.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I actually am pretty excited about that as well.
You know that movie caused like a worldwide depression of people who like actually physically had to go get therapy because they felt the movie was about like
Really?
they got sad that we're not taking care of Earth, and then like
Yeah, but we don't take care of ourselves. That's why.
you know,
You can't take care of the earth until you take care of yourself.
you know the name of the font.
You hear me?
Yeah, I do hear you.
You can't take care of the earth or anyone or anything until you take care of yourself.
If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best.
Oh God. No,
okay, now that we got movie quotes out of the way.
That was not.
You know what I've been? I like to watch. I like when I work. I like to have like background noise, usually music. I just went through like half of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah,
I started at Rogue One.
Okay,
Rogue One, and then I kind of went this way.
Went episode 1.
Now I'm back to episode 1. I kind of went around.
Episode 1 is newer than because they start 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to go through all of them, but I started at Rogue One because I think that was like one of the best Star Wars movies.
That was a pretty good R2D2 impression, by the way, Bo.
I didn't hear it. No. Okay. R2 farted a lot, huh? I've been watching all of them, and now I'm on episode 1, which is like I think like one of the worst.
Yeah.
Of all
you know what? I have a special place in my heart.
Episode 1 was the best.
I have a special place.
Not one.
The first one that was put out in 1974.
No, that's 4.
4. Yeah.
So
that was the best one.
So episode 1 came out when I was a junior in high school, and I remember going to the falls to go watch it with all my friends, and
it was fun.
It was yeah. I agree with both of your statements. It was fun and it was terrible. And but here's something that's so you know like people like go deep on that movie, right? On any Star Wars movie. Go back and watch episode 1, but then before you do, go to YouTube and there's a video about how they show you that Jar Jar Binks is the real Sith Lord. And if you notice his interactions in that movie, people in the town, like, you know, when they go underwater and stuff like that and they go to his town, like, they don't want to be around him. Yeah. He has mind control powers, even though they don't show you he directly has mind control, but he does like the Jedi mind trick where he's like, oh, you're not looking for us. And like, he does that. He has levitation powers. How athletic is he?
Oh, big time. He dives in the water.
Not only the jumping that he does, the fighting. None of the, when they're with the robot, the Clone Wars or whatever, do you notice like, they don't shoot at him. Like, there's like a whole bunch of things. Like, if you watch a YouTube video and you watch this person break it down, you're like, oh. And then you go watch that movie and you're like, oh.
And if I watch it with some purpose, like that, I think it's kind of.
It only plays like he's stupid.
That's what I'm saying. It's almost like if you were to watch like a Little League game, you probably wouldn't be excited. But if we were like, if my kid versus your kid, and I was like, I'll bet you $20. Yeah. Now it's more interesting. Now you're like, tell me to hit the ball.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I use it as background noise, but that's.
Yeah,
I'm on one, and I actually wound up like napping before I came down. I was like, oh yeah, I'll fall asleep to this movie. But it's my favorite. The Rogue One is my favorite.
He's either the incidental genius, or he intentionally plays this goofy persona to cover his like green beret background.
I mean, you know, if it never comes to fruition in the movies, then was it really? You're never gonna know because.
But Disney, you know,
that's
it's like,
why you got to watch them
but Star
over.
Wars.
That's true. There are two movies coming.
That's why you got to watch them over.
It just runs so long.
Yeah,
like Star Wars, they'll do that. They'll set up a plot line like that, and then like before, and then they'll just do it like.
Well, 9 episodes.
10 years
written.
in Disney years is nothing. Like, you got to understand, Disney's playing the long game.
Of course, I saw. I think 2025 and 2027 are going to be the next 2 Star Wars movies.
Have you seen how Disney like conditions you to new characters and movies that they haven't put out yet. Like before Nemo came out, Nemo was in the fish tank of the movie that was before, like in Toy Story or something like that. And then before like Toy Story came out, or like before Monsters Inc. came out, like they put him in a movie. They always
because they know. Yeah, I mean it's intentional. It's intentional.
Of course, yeah. I didn't make all these correlations myself.
Yeah, you're not smart enough.
I'm not. I'm the dumbest guy on earth. And
second, I'm the dumbest guy on earth.
Okay. And yeah, so I think I wouldn't put it past Disney to not have that be the intention whatsoever.
And then pick up on it.
But pick up on it because somebody else picked up on it and they're like, hey, it fits. Yeah. Let's do it.
Why not?
You know?
All right. So look, before we I forgot to put that on. Before we close out, we're gonna actually do the speed round questions.
To who?
So
snap.
We're both gonna do them.
Okay.
But it's been a while.
Snappy.
And we chime in when a guest is saying it, but we're gonna do them.
All right.
So gi or no gi?
I got a special place in my heart for gi.
Yeah, me too. But you're having fun with the no gi classes.
Yep, I like it all.
What's the class that you missed tonight? You said I'm missing the best night at my school for this.
It's the best night for me. It might not be for them, but it's gi open mat.
Okay.
I like that it's on a Thursday.
Well, that's a strange night to do.
It's not a strange night. It's a perfect night to do it. End of the week.
Do they do adults classes on Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a no gi class. It's a no gi as well. Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's 2 adult classes though.
Do they do any weekend open mats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, they do something every day, and then like they have multiple open mats throughout the weekend because like I think on Sunday you could come in and do no gi open mat, and then that's from 10 to 11. Then from 11 to 12 it's Muay Thai, and like striking, and then Mondays at 6 o'clock it's a gi class, and then at 7 o'clock they bring in a wrestling coach.
Yeah.
And then you have a wrestling class. And then they have, no gi drilling, and then
so that's jiu-jitsu.
Just straight up. Yeah, they do. We do jiu-jitsu sometimes. Well, he teaches it, and then I try.
You try to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely a gi guy.
Yeah.
I love no gi, but I
no
love
gi
being
starting
able
to become more fun.
It is the more mature you get in the sport. I think it be like, oh, I get to like. It's a different feel.
I like that
if somebody says, "Hey, let's train," I'm like grabbing my gi. Oh, you want to do no gi? Then I got to be like, oh,
you just take off your top. Yeah,
yeah. But I like the gi for me because I can control the pace.
Yeah,
a little bit better.
Yeah,
shitty cardio after heart attack. All that crap. I like to be able to.
I like grips.
Yeah, that I can slow my opponent down. I mean. A no-gi class, a no-gi with Adolfo. It's just like, he's just, right? Adolfo's just like, where is he? He's like,
gi with Adolfo. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Because now his knee on belly is 70 times more powerful because he's like grabbing your gi and he's like bending you like a bow.
Bad example.
Yeah.
Bad example.
Guy. Yeah.
But like, I can control the pace most of the time with somebody. I wasn't saying that I can control the pace with him, but I can slow somebody down a little bit.
Other people.
But definitely,
mortals.
for the most part, I could just slow somebody's pace down and then control my pace, my breathing, and not be totally worn out by the end of a training session. So now that you're at Renzo Gracie, has it changed? Takedown or pull guard?
It's a takedown heavy school.
Yeah.
Yeah, but pulling guard is to do something malicious instantly there. If somebody pulls guard on you there, they're going straight into like a leg entanglement most of the time.
Yeah.
Especially like a no-gi. But I wrestled. I like doing takedowns.
Yeah.
But I purposely pull guard a lot because I suck.
How's your leg game?
Better than it was a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get caught all the time. There's like 2 17-year-olds there that just put a whooping on everybody. Yeah. Always. Yeah. So shout out to Carlos and Enrico. They're winning. They're doing those white line promotions. They're doing the competitive. He goes to IBJJFs and he wins them.
Yeah.
Kid's sick. Yeah. They're both.
I want to go to even. I'm like down to go to any event. We talked about going to like an MMA event. We got to keep our eye on something, but I would go to one of those if you're down. Like,
yeah. I mean, Sean's always there, so that'd be cool. He does the white lion. He does the white lion.
Yeah, he does the white lion. He does the Arte
Suave. Yeah, he does the arte suave.
I'm gonna make a point next time he's down to go like and watch.
I've always wanted to, man, but it's
it used to be when he was coming down all the time. We were recording on a Saturday. I shouldn't say was it even here? Did we started recording on Saturdays in the beginning, even here, right? Or no?
No,
we did Thursdays here. We were recording.
It was when you moved the second place before your house.
When we were doing it at my house, it was
that weird upstairs thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
you had that mid-split floor thing.
Yeah, the townhouse that was like the temporary before the house.
The room was like in a pit stop between the first floor and the second floor. It was like
an office space. I mean, we turned it into a
podcast.
Like moving blankets for sound.
I'm just saying, feng shui wise. Yeah, like I guess great use of space, but it was a very odd.
It was almost like a foyer.
You know, I had my desk at that little counter. I could. From like working, I could reach the fridge, and grab stuff out of the fridge. The way that it was set up,
and
then I could see the TV as well.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I know the answer to this question, but we're going to go dive a little deeper. But let me say, so I'm definitely a pull guard guy because again, the same thing about like being able to control a little bit.
Yeah.
But with takedowns between. If I'm taking down somebody because I'm usually the larger guy, it's perceived as like bullying a little bit. I mean, if you take somebody down, and I mean, there's like more simple takedowns. My favorite takedowns, it's kind of bullying.
Yeah,
like I don't even know what it's called, but I do I'll have a same side collar and sleeve, and then fall to my butt and make you trip over my leg.
Yeah,
I think I used to call it some type of baseball slide. Yeah. I don't know what the official name is for it, but I'll grab the same side and like fall. Yeah, you're going to land here. A lot of times I'm going to get my hook is going to be in, so I'm either taking your back or trying.
That's a good one for you, for sure.
But again, it's
I would call it more of an arm drag than anything.
It's kind of, but it's real. Most of the
and then you fall with it. Yeah, I got you
here.
We got a heavyweight that
again
does that.
because that's like my favorite takedown. You get a wipe. Somebody's going to land on
that to a wipe belt. They're gonna slam their face on the mat.
Yeah, they don't know how to what to do, and it gets really weird. But that's that's hands down my favorite takedown. So I don't do it as often, but I'm a pull guard by I call it necessity because if not, then it just looks like I'm beating up on somebody if I try to do like a takedown.
With wrestling, being able to strike quick and being able to get in there and have a nice penetration leg takes a lot of athleticism and really good timing. My knees are trash. Single legs have become. I feel like single legs have just gotten like so much easier to snatch up now.
Let me add this to my statement because it sounds like there's takedowns you could do, Milton, that aren't like bullying. But it's if I'm taking you down and then I'm getting to an advantageous position right away. Mm-hmm. And now there's this guy that normally will outweigh you by 50 to 75 pounds.
Yeah.
That's the bullying part. It's not just the takedown. Yeah. It's like, okay, now I'm on top of you. It's like, kind of sucks for you, to have a big guy. I'm not the like fucking, the best jiu-jitsu practitioner ever. Milton. It's that I'm big and it sucks for you.
There's just some people you can't beat. Sometimes you got to be that guy. You got to be that guy that they're like, today's going to be the day. I'm
definitely the guy. People are like, oh man, I got to partner with him.
I never had that feeling. I was just like,
I mean, you're closer, not close. Well, you're closer to my weight than most people in my school. Yeah, and we said until recently we got some big boys in there now. So there's definitely
and they're losing weight every time I go there. They look skinnier.
Yeah, the guys are looking good. Ray's needs healing up better, so he's Ray's more.
He looks super fit. When he was I think he was in Atlanta with his kid.
I saw the picture. We saw the picture. Ray.
Anyways, they brought back a bunch of medals. Yeah, so congratulations to Felipe and Sophia for training them kids. And making
Jiu-Jitsu for life in Coral Springs.
And but Ray looked.
I saw that picture
with the red shirt.
Yeah.
He looked good.
Yeah. I saw him in his schmedium.
Yeah, that shit was young. Hey, Ray, you could afford a larger shirt.
I sent him that. So do you watch jiu-jitsu? We always ask our guests, like, okay, you do jiu-jitsu, but are you watching jiu-jitsu?
As of late, I've been watching less and less. Mm-hmm. Just because I've been consuming other things to better other aspects of my life, or I've been honestly pretty busy lately, and so I've been spending more time with my family because I've been getting less of that time. Mm-hmm. But I watch the UFC every weekend. Like that Sunday, I take it. I usually do it like I'll wait.
Mhm.
And then so like when nobody's doing nothing at night, I'll take that time to myself.
Yeah. I do that in the mornings. I watch stuff in the mornings when the family's still in bed.
If there's a lot of situations where like family hangout in my house is we got like a big sectional, like big L shape.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll all be on the couch. My wife is watching a show with her earbuds on her phone.
Like on a phone. Okay.
My son is on the Nintendo Switch playing like FIFA or something. My daughter has her laptop and she's either doing like some music thing where like she's like creating music or something like that or drawing on something. And then I'm just like, well, I'm also dicking around on my phone. So I'll put it on Flow and then I'll watch because it's like with Flow, I feel like they do a certain amount of stuff. And I feel like they're very repetitive when it comes to like interviewing people.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
what do you mean? It's like the same people all the time?
yeah, it's what it feels like.
Yeah,
You know what? And it's probably not even their fault. I think it's that you guys have a trash app. You need to fix your app because you guys have
So
a lot of
you're
good
getting
content.
fed the same thing.
It's like the same. And then you know what's really weird is like I'll pick a video and then I'll press menu because I watch it on Apple TV. When I go back, it just goes straight
Gives you
to
the same
top.
thing?
No,
Okay.
it goes straight to the top every single time. So I got to scroll all the way down to the segment that I like and then go find the episode that I like.
So does
But I'll watch it,
do
yeah.
they still have the and I don't watch as much as I used to. They still have the 24/7 like grappling 24/7 or something.
I never put it on there, but yeah, they do.
But like
have
that
it.
one, so like you just put it on and then like
Yeah.
it doesn't start from like a beginning. It's like what's
It's
on
whatever,
now for everybody.
yeah, whatever they're
like almost like
featuring.
regular TV programming.
Yeah.
So I've liked that. I like the
like the
Fix My Game.
I watch Fix My Game. I watched the whole Daisy Fresh thing whenever that comes out. Shout out to Pedigo Submission Fighting.
Yeah,
Those
I haven't.
guys are awesome.
I haven't
And,
seen. I don't think I watched the last one I watched was when who's the guy that went back to the trailer park? Went back to feed his
the
grandmother?
Hillbilly Hammer?
Hillbilly Hammer.
Yeah, Couch.
Brendan.
Not Brent.
Not Brendan.
You I had his name and you literally made me forget it.
Knocked it right out of your
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It starts with a J, I think.
That's the last
But
one.
I do watch jiu-jitsu. How about yourself? Are you consuming them or are you watching Star Wars?
I am so like I don't put on stuff.
You've said this before. When you're injured, you don't like watching it because it makes you sad.
No. Well, I'll watch. I don't look. I put in Pedigo and Couch, and it's like Pedigo furniture.
That's how he makes the money for the gym.
I like to watch. I mean, it's definitely like, oh man, I wish I could be doing it. If I'm not doing it, I'm doing something. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'm doing. I'm watching UFC. I'm watching.
We also prep for the
events.
guest, it's like, and then we also like the guest, so we've already watched her stuff, but we'll rewatch it just to kind of recap. So it's like we are consuming it that way too. I think.
So it's me. Like I did this today, and even though the guest canceled, like I found a Jacob couch.
Jacob. I told you it started with a J.
Yeah, I should know that. I'm horrible with my recall. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's like getting bad. Something's up. So anyway, so what were we saying? You were
saying, do you consume?
Yeah, no. So watching the podcast, listening to a podcast on the way down. So it's an hour drive from where I live to here, and I'll almost always listen to something. But I've done like other research, and I check out their like BJJ Heroes page, and
for sure. There's definitely
I'll throw on YouTube if they've got some YouTube stuff. I like to see like somebody's like how they talk. Are they talkative? Do you have to pull them out of their shell? Like I want to understand that before we just have them on. I speak to every guest like the Monday, Tuesday before, sometime before the podcast, so that it's not the first time that we're seeing them.
That's consuming jiu-jitsu.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm doing something jiu-jitsu related. I don't get to like I'm horrible with like, hey, remember that fight back in 2015 with St. Pierre? I'm like, I know I saw it, and if I see it, I'll be like, yeah, I remember this, but I can't tell you like the names and what round and the knockout. I'm horrible at that.
I'm slightly better than you at that, but I'm not
you're pretty good at it.
Joe Rogan is like, I don't understand how he does.
But
what
I mean,
he does.
when your job is to research all the fighters on a 12-fight card before you go announce for it, you're gonna learn it.
You listen to the show, like he recalls stuff.
But again,
and
because
boxers?
But he's studying it.
I know.
But he's looking at boxing and he understands it and he studies it. I mean, when it's your job and you're going to have Mike Tyson on, so you watch Mike Tyson's fights. You're going to have this boxer or the Muay Thai fighter on, or a K1 striker guy. You know what I mean? Like it's just you're going to you could. I wish I wish I could do that.
There's something that kind of recall is connected to true passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that.
And I know this from
Alpha Brain.
I know this from people in racing.
He said, right? That's what he says. He talks about his recall is better with Alpha Brain.
I would too if I owned.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just
finish.
the passion thing is
of
part
course.
Of it.
Absolutely.
When you're super passionate about something, you remember shit like, dude, you remember every fucking day.
Let me say, look, I love jiu-jitsu and I love MMA, but on a 9 to 5 every day, I'm talking about marketing. You can talk to me about marketing, and I can tell you, I definitely talk you in circles.
Lead sheets.
No.
That's the only thing.
That's the only thing you knew. So, like, I could talk to you about, marketing till the cows come home.
I learned B2B from you.
Because I'm just, it's just what I do. But, I wish that time could be spent, what is he doing?
Nothing. I moved.
I moved. I wish I could spend my days just researching and watching fights. And
That's
stuff,
what we're working towards.
Yeah, maybe.
Use code JJD.
But I do have a passion for helping people with their marketing, and that passion comes from like
your napkin,
I'm not an artist.
Yeah,
but I can work with an artist on a design, like we talked about, Sean. Like I could be like, yeah, but this and that would look really cool here, and maybe do it like this. Like
you got an eye for it.
I like that part, and because I can't do it and I can't draw, and I'm not a graphic designer, but I love being involved with that process.
Yeah,
like I think I meant I love building websites for people.
Yeah,
I love that because it's like, okay, let's talk.
But you don't know how to build a website. But you know what a good website looks like, what it feels like. You're able to interpret their feelings towards what it's supposed to look like digitally.
And I start with the like when we design a site, we don't just design it in like WordPress or in the platform. Like we'll usually design something so it's custom. So like we're designing kind of the template of what it's going to look like.
Yeah,
and not just put it in some canned like pre-made, template.
Canned website.
So. Yeah, I don't like doing that. Like I want to design everything.
Squarespace.
So it looks different for them. It's unique to them. And so like in that process, I get to work with the designer and give suggestions and give them
you like creating stuff.
Yeah. I can't do it myself, but I like being in that world. But if I had to choose, I mean, again, I love what I do, but I keep on like the two have been crossing over so much that like, I mentioned got clients that are in MMA. We did 2 MMA logos over the last 2 weeks.
Nice.
For one company. Like that's fun to be like having to talk to them about, okay, do this. Oh, I suggest doing this. I like it like
you
this.
got a fan's perspective too,
Yeah.
So like as they're just like trying to make a business decision, you're more enthusiastic about it probably.
I didn't name it Black Belt Digital Marketing because I thought that I was going to break into like a greater MMA or jiu-jitsu world.
It's just because of what you like.
Was just, it's like, I'm a brown belt, but I'm a black belt at jiu-jitsu. Like it was kind of that.
You're a black belt at marketing.
A black belt at marketing.
You're a brown belt at jiu-jitsu.
See, I'm thinking of that jiu-jitsu. So wow, don't laugh so hard. I'll have it one day now. Jesus. So I love just being involved.
It's his delivery.
I just love being involved with anything in this world, and even if it's the marketing, it's fun for me. So
yeah.
All right. So who's your favorite competitor to watch? Do you have one?
Yeah, it's a hard one for me. I'm between. There's not a lot of footage of Kron.
Let's do
Gracie,
jiu-jitsu. Okay, jiu-jitsu and MMA.
Let's sure. So I'm between Marcelo Garcia and Kron Gracie. Okay. I would just say Marcelo Garcia because he has a volume of work, and you could still just go on YouTube and watch him.
Yeah.
But I just like the way Kron moves.
Okay.
And I just like it almost sometimes it feels like he doesn't even want to do it, but he's doing it. And he's doing it to the best of his ability because of his name. Sometimes it feels that way, like for real. Like sometimes when I watch him, it's like he fights like he doesn't want to fight.
Who?
Kron.
Okay.
But he's fighting to win every single time.
So now you're talking about the jiu-jitsu side because he does fight MMA.
He does fight. Yeah, I can't wait to watch him again.
So who on the MMA side of things, do you have a favorite?
Golly, man. Any time in history?
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I mean
these days, right? Everything's at our fingertips. So
yeah. Man, that's a tough question, man. I would probably have to say, I would probably have to say GSP, man.
Okay.
Just like all time.
Yeah.
Like that dude got everything. Never wrestled. Amazing at wrestling.
Yeah.
Never. I mean, he was a garbage man. Like
But
just
to like as
now
a job to
and then
to
how about
further his
now?
martial arts
He
career.
doesn't fight anymore, and he looks better than he did when he fought.
Do you follow him on Instagram?
Oh my gosh,
you see like the videos. He's like,
yeah,
what are the cold plunge?
I can talk like him if I feel like. I watched that dude. I watched him recently on Lex Freeman when he was there with Gordon Ryan and Danaher.
Yeah,
and then I mean grappling too is like, I guess now like if Gordon Ryan fights, like I'm watching, but I'm watching because like you could see that he's so good at this point that you could see that you could actively watch him do something that he's about to put a video out about because you haven't seen him do it before.
Yeah.
Like when he was with Neil Magny and let's see who gets how many subs. This time it's not like a real competition and Neil Magny I think was wearing the Bulls outfit.
Is it Neil Magny or
was it Neil Magny?
No.
It was an MMA fighter he was grappling with on who's number one,
yeah. I think it's not Neil Magny.
It wasn't?
Definitely Neil Magny's smaller and thinner. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Is it a Hill? Isn't his name Hill? He's commentated on.
You got a computer.
Yeah, but I don't know what I'm going to search.
You just go Gordon Ryan versus UFC fighter WNO.
Okay, go ahead. Keep on.
And man, like you could watch him do something that you haven't seen him do before, and then he also like overdoes it, and then he'll go back and break it down and tell you like this is why I did this, and I'm showing you that like if something fails, you could just repetitively do this over and over, like what he did to Jacob Couch. I'm pretty sure that was I still don't know what the submission was. I think he just tapped from life sucking so bad.
Was it?
It was bad.
No, it's not Philip Bro, was it?
No, he was wearing. No, it wasn't him.
I know, though that's not the rash guard he was wearing. I know what he's wearing. The Bulls.
Yeah, he's
right
wearing
there.
the Bulls. Yeah,
it's in that video. Gordon Ryan versus Philip Bro WNO.
I don't know. Maybe I got it wrong.
Yeah, no, it's not Neil Magny.
Yeah,
it definitely. I don't.
It was like a UFC fight or something like that.
So
and
go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just saying, like he's one of those people that like you watch him and then like he's so good, like you don't want to watch him, and then you watch one thing that he does, and then you just go down a rabbit hole.
So I was gonna say, like, as far as my favorite jiu-jitsu fighter to watch, and it can change. It's not like it's static. I'm not a big Gordon Ryan fan. I love his jiu-jitsu. Let's get that out of the way.
I got you.
I'm not a big fan of the shit talking. I don't know. It just brings me back to a place with bullies and stuff like that. And I know, like, okay, there's an argument to be made that he only, throws back when somebody. Okay, I get that. I'm just not a big fan of like the talking side. It doesn't mean I don't think that the guy's a nice guy. I love his jiu-jitsu. What I love about watching him is what I talked about before, like with slowing down people with the gi. How does he slow down every opponent? Like he makes it look like you're watching a flow roll. And I love and respect that. Like, and I'm like, how can I do that?
He's pretty good.
Like using his weight, leverage, balance,
like how he floats on legs.
Yeah, man. It's like, but how often do you see anybody like, we always say like spider monkey and things like that? You don't ever see anybody just like fucking taking it to him. That's why I'm like really interested in the Galvao fight. He doesn't allow you. Is Andre Galvao going to be able to move like that?
Yeah.
Or is he just going to fall into that freaking, like, it's almost like that spider web that Gordon Ryan puts out for you, and you're like just stuck no matter what.
Steamroll. Like, you're just getting rolled over and you can't do. You're right. He doesn't allow, the way to put it, I just thought about it, it's like he doesn't allow you to create a scramble.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't. There's
very rare.
No, dude, you go in there, it's no exits.
And
it's just like this. It's like Saw. Game over. Like,
I love that. Closed. I love that because of everything I said before about like you want to slow down an opponent, my cardio being sucky, and the heart attack, all that shit. I love when I watch that, I'm like, look at him slowing these guys down who normally would, and maybe it's not just slowing down, but he sucks you into his game, and that's his game. It's like what's the one that
boa constrictor or like a ball python,
a boa constrictor.
Yeah,
like he just gets slowly slows you down until he's just like, okay, it's time to.
I watch that once a week with my daughter's snake. I gotta feed it mice.
All right, so on the MMA side for me, I'll throw in boxing too. I was always a Mike Tyson fan.
Right.
I grew up in that era. Like really watching those fights. I remember he's like,
what about
champ, same birthday, June 30th.
Really?
He and I share a birthday. So he was my favorite boxer. On the MMA side, I really do, and it's not just because she fought. I've said this before. One of my favorite fighters to watch is Rose Namajunas.
She's so slick.
I didn't see this one, and I feel bad that I didn't see it as I'm saying this, but I love the way that she fights. I think that I really fell in love with her before the Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight, where with the stare down at the news conference, and she was like praying.
So that was the Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight.
Yeah, I'm just saying I probably fell in love with her at that point.
Yeah.
When
it's
like the bully thing. Like, hey, listen, I had a bully. I bullied people. I had a bully, and her composure, how she dealt with it.
Yeah.
And her I think she was doing like a Hail Mary while Joanna was like in her face,
saying the boogeyman stuff.
That composure, but also just the way that she wound up winning that fight.
Yeah.
Like a fan forever. I was a fan before, but again, as far as favorite fighters to watch, I just watching her evolution, watching her lose and then come back.
Yeah.
And
there's so many good female fighters.
Again, now she's going to come back again. I love watching. You ever see her with her? I don't know his name. One of her coaches doing like kung fu, kind of like
not her husband, Pat Downey.
No, not her husband. It's one of her trainers. She does like I don't think I can compare.
Is it with the coach?
Yeah, it's a coach.
Yeah, it's their coach.
Yeah,
that's Gaethje's coach, and
no, not that. Now I know who you're talking about, the guy that created
Onyx.
the new gloves. No,
Onyx
not
gloves.
him.
Okay.
There's a guy that she does like jiu-jitsu kind of handwork.
Okay.
They'll warm up and she'll do like I don't know what it's called. I feel bad. I don't know. But she'll do like the warm up in the hands. Mm-hmm. You can see it on her feed, and I follow him, so I see it on his. And just like the respect of she's a true martial artist.
Oh yeah,
like she is a well-rounded true martial artist.
Hell of a head kick.
Yeah, man. And I just love watching her fight.
What about her boxing?
And look, and she's easy on the eyes, even without the the hair was just like, okay, now she doesn't have hair.
Yeah.
She's still a freaking little,
She's nice.
She's a cutie.
For sure.
So yeah, that she's my favorite. You want to throw in a boxing? Who's your favorite boxer?
My favorite boxer, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but y'all must have forgot. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name right now. That was his song. That was like not Sugar Ray. Something Junior. Here, hold on.
Sugar Ray Leonard?
No. It was
Roy Jones?
Roy Jones
Jr.
That's it, Roy Jones Jr.
I know my boxing.
I know my boxing too.
So like passion, boxing, I can remember
boxing
names.
was really weird for me because my stepdad at the time really liked boxing, and he was also the general superintendent for the apartments that we lived in.
Yeah.
So he was tight, like with everybody. I used to clean apartments with my mom. So like when people would move out, my mom and I would go do the apartment cleaning.
Is that here?
This was in Miami when I grew up in Miami. Yeah. This wasn't in Colombia.
I was going to say, you grew up so rich, you were cleaning fucking...
I wasn't cleaning nothing. I was
fucking rooms.
No. Yeah. But so he was tight with the Adelphia guy. You remember? Oh, you weren't down here probably. So Adelphia was a cable company.
Yeah, I know
down
Adelphia.
Here. And so we would get the black box for all the boxing matches. They'll do whatever little deal they worked out, Because I think the Adelphia guy also lived in our neighborhood.
All right, gotcha.
So it's like this little network of people.
It's fucking Miami,
so,
bro.
but boxing, it was Kendall. Yeah,
so everybody's got a guy. How do you say it in Spanish? How would you say it in Spanish?
Yeah. Kendall is nice now. Yeah. Kendall was not nice when I was there.
Oh yeah.
And I watched it get nice, which was nice. And there was like he would just come by, and it was just like he would just hook up the box to the box. Or he would like do something outside, like switch or something. There was like a thing. But like boxing for me was like this, like I watched it all the time, but like I was too young to really understand or like know the names. I would remember the names at the time, obviously, because you'd be like, who's that? But I really liked watching Roy Jones Jr. Just like.
Great fighter.
Dude, that hook.
I don't think I was a fan. I've always been a fan of like the underdog. Other than Mike Tyson, even with MMA, I don't go into it like that's my fighter.
Yeah,
I want to see him kick ass. I'll be watching a fight and root for I'll root for the underdog in the fight, and I'll go back and forth only because I love that underdog. has nothing to do with not knowing the fighters or not knowing the game. I feel like I'm comfortable. I'm not like a super casual. I'm more than a casual watcher, you know? And watching somebody come back from like tremendous amount of adversity or beating the shit talker, even though maybe I like the fighter that I normally like is a shit talker the whole lead up, or talks about his family, and now I'm like, this guy's fan. Like, I love that back and forth. Or like I'm not a Conor fan. Respect Conor to like, great, you're a great fighter. Yeah, I hate what he did. You don't talk about, you're on the mat with a broken foot and you're talking about somebody's wife being in your DMs. Yeah, come on. But he's so good. So lowbrow.
It's so lowbrow, but we're still talking about it. So that's what he's good at. And how about a guy like Clay Guida that's just like does it for the love of the sport? Oh,
fucking like
that kind of story. Like
you want to see Clay do good in every fight. I don't think I've ever rooted against him, no matter who the other fighter was. Yeah, because you're like, come on, Clay.
It's almost like the same thing with Diego Sanchez. Like, it seems like he's kind of gone astray a little bit. Yeah, you know. And I wish nothing. He's
doing
bare
knuckle. He did a bare knuckle.
I hope so. Right? Yeah, I don't know if you're doing bare knuckle.
He did one. He did one.
I know, but that doesn't mean you're doing better. I don't think.
No. I'm not. No, I'm not saying he's doing better. I'm just saying he's still in the game. He's still out there. Yeah, I mean, it's like, but it's like, you know, most guys are graduating like, to bare knuckle because they, you know, they have to.
But those guys that are just like, this is what I do.
Yeah,
like, you're 40. Cool. Yeah. I like to fight. Like, and that's the conundrum, right? Like, you love a guy and you want to tell him to not fight. If you know him personally, you know, it's like, hey man, you know, things are not looking good for you. But then on the other hand, it's like,
how do you feel about all this crossover to boxing? I think these the social media fighting kids, the Paul brothers.
Are you talking about the Island Boys?
No.
Have you seen that? Please tell me you've seen that.
No,
okay.
I know.
How great is that?
We could talk about that. I'm just saying the social media, not them, but like Logan Paul.
Yeah, the Paul brothers.
I think they've breathed some new life into boxing. I was definitely somebody who said, I think boxing's dead. I looked at boxing as, I've called it the flag football team to the UFC's NFL.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like I could watch this thing that gives me punches, kicks, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, gives me all these different arts, or I can watch just boxing. Now, I respect boxing. Grew up with boxing.
Who doesn't?
I could take that. I can argue that point all day long. I just think that from the person who is responsible for me losing my love for jiu-jitsu wasn't that I found the UFC and found MMA. It was like a guy like Mayweather, like picking his fights. Mm-hmm. Like, what other sport can you pick your opponent? The Giants don't get to say who they want to play. The Panthers don't get to say who they're going to get on the ice with, right?
Yeah.
You're part of this organization. The best fight the best. But because of boxing and all the organizations, the alphabet organizations, all this bullshit. I can remember like WBO was like an okay organization right now. I can remember when they started, it was like a joke. They wouldn't even like, if somebody had 2 belts or had multiple belts, they wouldn't even say the WBO belt. And now that's changed, right? So, I just think when you're choosing your opponents and then you call yourself the best, or you get handed a fight because
they groom them. They groom them because like, an undefeated record in boxing is more important than a undefeated, record in MMA. You could lose a fight and actually get more stock. Perfect example was that last minute fill-in with Sugar Sean O'Malley against that kid from like Jersey that kind of looked like him with like people were making the joke because they both colored their hair kind of the same. I think one did it as a joke and then the other one matched it. And so everybody made like...
O'Malley always does like some rainbow.
O'Malley always does, so I think he kind of did it too. But this dude came out there, I think biggest undercard of the fight. And he got beat up.
Yeah.
But didn't go down and kept fighting and kept his composure. Yeah. And his stock went up.
All right. Like, again, I'm just
saying that in boxing, you don't get that. In MMA, you could lose a fight.
That's where I lost my passion for boxing, though. Yeah. Because I definitely, there was a transition out of boxing. I mean, we had a crew that watched, like, it was me, my dad, a good friend of mine who used to be a roommate of mine, my dad's friends, like a bunch of different cops, all these old timers. And we got together, and it was always like one guy had the fight at his house. Like, somebody bought the pay-per-view, everybody came to his house, and it always kind of like moved around.
Smart.
And, it was watched all the big fights. If there was a pay-per-view, we always got together. Mm-hmm. But then it was slowly like, oh no, well there's UFC on tonight, or no, I'm like, I watched UFC last week. I got this to do. I'm going on. I just lost that passion for it. But I know that Mayweather was responsible for a big part of that for me. Okay, I'm not saying he's not a great fighter. I'm just saying the shit talking, and then like I'm the best fighter to ever do it, but you're not fighting like he wasn't fighting fighters in their prime. Pacquiao. Like really, you waited for him to get older to fight. Come on, we all know it, So I just, I'm sure I'm going to get a little bit of hate off of that or some comments, but I'm not saying he's not a great fighter. I just don't like the. But I'm gonna pick my opponent thing.
I think what you're trying to say is like you understand the sport and you understand the culture. It's just not it's not your cup of tea.
Yeah, no, like I like UFC.
That's boxing culture.
Yeah. UFC is the league and all the greatest. Yeah, but it's still kind of a league, and UFC is the NFL of MMA, right? This is their premier. I mean, I don't watch a lot of One Championship, but I know that they're huge, and and on the other side of the globe.
You can watch the PFL just like you can watch the UFC on ESPN Plus. How much PFL do you watch?
I don't.
And you use the ESPN Plus app, and it's right next to it.
I don't watch it at all.
Exactly. See, just like
I want to watch. Again, I want to watch. I don't want to watch flag football. I want to watch the NFL. Right. I want to watch.
PFL still really good fighters.
At least within the league of the UFC, if you want to call it that. You don't really get to choose. Like Dana's going to force it on you, or you're not going to fight.
I don't think Dana. Well, I guess Dana definitely has a say in it, but it's more like Sean Shelby.
Well, but he still answers to Dana White's in that room.
But the bigger guys do duck fights.
Oh, of course.
And then people duck fights all the time,
Absolutely.
and then they get called out for it. They're like, oh, you've been ducking this fight, and they'll you duck.
But then they're not going to just put them in with somebody. Either they're going to put you in with somebody fucking that's a harder fight or a hard fight. You're not going to just get you're not going to get a Pacquiao at a decade after his prime. You know what I mean?
You also I think if you've been watching the UFC long enough and you've watched it transform to what it is now, you could easily make the argument that the algorithm has been figured out. At least I could see it. Like if you have
what do you mean?
Like so you have a young Sean O'Malley, perfect example. I honestly think he's a great fighter. He's championship material.
They're holding him back a little bit. They're not
holding him back. They're prepping him.
Holding, not in the bad way. Like they're making sure, like he's.
But I think he's also doing that too. He's cognizant.
He's talked about it.
He's cognizant of picking his fights. So you're talking about. So you could tell that he's
Patty's talking kind of the same way.
Same thing. He's like, I don't want to be a champion tomorrow.
Not yet. I know I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that. I'm gonna build up to it, and I'm okay with it.
But the UFC is notorious for to and through. Because that's your opening contract. You get 1-2 fights, and then like if you don't perform, you get the hell out. So like you have to come in, and when you do your opening, when you do your first fight as a newcomer, they'll either feed you to a veteran, so it's a gatekeeper match, or they'll put you with an up and coming contender, and you gotta lose in a spectacular fashion for them to go, okay, this kid is gonna be.
So again, but you don't get to write your own ticket, and that's the difference with boxing.
But as you get along,
a bigger fighter, can call. I'll take this fight and I won't take that one.
Yeah,
it's not a league anymore. You're not the WBC champion. You're not the WBO, the WBA. You are the champ of whatever organization. How many guys have walked away from belts because they didn't want to take a fight? That's happened. Or like. The number 2 contender in this organization is not the number 2 contender, or maybe not even ranked in another organization.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, if you take that fight, you're going to lose our belt. It's just too much.
I also I like that the UFC kind of lets the champion have a say, who they fight. Like Charles Oliveira, right? I mean, the people's champ now, I guess. It's like he's not the champion because he got his belt stripped, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And
but he's already talking about what his next fight's going to be, and
you got somebody who's nipping at the heels, right? You got Chimaev.
Who do you think deserves that fight?
That next fight,
essentially the belt
versus
up in the air
Charles
fight.
Oliveira. I mean, it's got to. Who's left? It's got to be like Michael Chandler. No, didn't Michael Chandler beat him?
Michael Chandler.
He just won against Tony Ferguson.
Yeah. Did Chandler beat? No.
So Charles Oliveira already beat everybody. Yeah. Oliveira beat everybody. He's already beaten Dustin Poirier. He's already beaten Justin Gaethje. He's already he already ran through the gambit. He's on an 11 or 12 fight win streak. Oliveira is. I don't know if he fought Chandler yet. Did he?
Yeah, they fought.
They fought. Was that the one that
UFC
ended?
269.
Oh yeah, that was recent then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he beat him by a sub, right, or KO?
I'm looking it up.
It was just saying it.
Defeats. He beat Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
In that fight.
So it's I don't know.
Round,
Chimaev makes sense.
I think yeah, but Oliveira's saying, isn't he saying no?
He's saying no. You got to earn it. You got to beat somebody you got to beat a Dustin Poirier, or you got to go through what I'm on an 11 fight win streak, going through all these killers. You know. So
but I see it would be if the UFC put him in with somebody like Chimaev.
I would like to see that fight.
Hey, listen, you didn't make weight. You're gonna take the fight that we're gonna give you. You don't necessarily you're not the champion anymore.
Yeah, but he has
kind of the champion, but you're not the champion.
He won, so when he won, now he gets the title shot for the vacant title.
Yeah, so I'm saying he doesn't necessarily get to pick who he wants. Exactly. He shouldn't get to pick who he wants.
Yeah, but his next fight is a title fight.
Okay.
Right? And it's a good argument that Chimaev be the guy. And Chimaev is the type of guy that wants it. He just broke into the scene. He's only 5-6 fights in or something like that. He's like,
I think more.
I don't want to, I'm done with everybody. I want the belt. And then I want to do my Khabib thing. That's it. I just want to be undefeated. I'm going to stay undefeated. I'm going to do it until I get my Mercedes-Benz from Putin.
It's nice.
And then go back and live my life, you know? So no, doesn't he live in Denmark, I think?
I don't know.
I think he doesn't live in Russia.
All right. So next question, because we're going really long. What's your ultimate goal in the world of jiu-jitsu? Do you have one?
Yeah, just to be able to do it every single day and have it be more part of my life and part of my family's life. Mm-hmm. And just I just like it a lot. More jiu-jitsu. And maybe that's just because I've only been doing it for coming up. I think I'm on 3 years now.
I knew early on you're a lifer.
Yeah.
You're a lifer.
I just like it, man. I like going. I like hanging out there. Yeah. I like doing dumb shit in the gym, like handstands or whatever. The whole thing.
My ultimate goal would be obviously to continue to do the podcast as long as I can.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
And we talked about getting this into an office where we have a podcast office inside of the marketing office.
Yeah,
I'd really like to do more of these every week.
Yeah,
and also have that space to do some filming and maybe do some seminars and things like have some.
Dude, could you imagine if jiu-jitsu just paid all the bills? Like if somehow that miraculously, that would be. There's my new goal. Forget everything else I just said. That's my goal.
Jiu-jitsu pay the bills.
When jiu-jitsu pays all the bills, is my ultimate goal.
If you could go back in time and talk to yourself before the very first time you stepped on the mats, what would you tell yourself?
I would go further back in time and say start earlier. You know what? There's a common theme from all the people that we've interviewed. I would say definitely pay more attention to your diet and pay more attention to stretching. It was a steep learning curve. I came in kind of hefty. Yeah. Well, also just always being ready. Just be ready.
If I could go back, it's definitely take care of my body.
Yeah.
We started before and after.
We started late, both of us.
Yeah.
So we were both grown ass men when we started jiu-jitsu.
If I started when I was younger, I would have quit. I mean, I did karate when I was growing up.
You said that.
For every
no, but what I'm saying is you hear people, it's like, oh, slow down and enjoy the process or whatever.
Yeah.
As a white belt, I enjoyed it. I wasn't. I enjoyed.
I didn't go at it slow.
I'm still
enjoyed it.
I'm still enjoying the process.
I love it. I mean, even though I'm out, I still love it when I go back. It's like, oh man, I miss this. Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that feeling. I was talking, it's coming near the end of the school season of the semester for my daughter, high school last semester. Yeah. And lots of awards, galas and dinners and stuff. She did pretty well, and she was pretty athletic up until this last year. She still ran cross country this last year, but she played soccer and she ran track. And so we're talking, and, I'm always in her head about do what you're passionate about. Everybody else will tell you go to be a lawyer, be a doctor. I'm telling her do something that you're passionate about. And she loves to read. And I'm like, when she talks to me about books, she bought her her mother won't hear this till after, if she even listens. She bought her mother a book.
Mhm.
Now, my daughter loves to read, but she reads on like her phone. She reads books downloads them and reads on her phone. My wife loves to read. She doesn't read as much as she'd like, but she likes to have a physical book.
Yeah.
And she was telling me the story about, she's like, she goes, I just bought my first book. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, this is the first time I ever bought a book myself.
Yeah.
Was the gift that she's getting from my wife for her birthday this week. And she was so excited. She's always so passionate about reading. I go, you see that right there? I go, that's how I feel about jiu-jitsu. We were just talking.
Just rando?
I just said, because I don't think that like my wife found her passion in kickboxing.
Yeah. So you guys could relate. You said that before.
I was trying to relate. I was telling her, do you see that passion?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about jiu-jitsu. Right there, that feeling you were giddy. Like, I can't wait to go. Like, I want to read the next book.
Yeah.
You're just so happy to buy a book for somebody else. She gets all of her friends to read books. She fucking loves it. I go, imagine turning that passion into your love. Now, I know she's worried about if I turn my passion into a job, then it's a job and I'm not going to like it.
Yeah.
I said, but there's a happy medium in there. You'll figure it out, and you don't have to figure it out right now.
You're not going to be happy never.
That feeling is how I feel about jiu-jitsu. I said, you see the way you're acting right now? That's me. That's jiu-jitsu. And that's how I feel. So now I go, now you understand. And I go, and hopefully, like I did, that I get to turn the passion into something that I do for a living and I get paid for.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Regrets?
You know what? It's always starting earlier, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I don't.
If we took out the whole, like, I always say, like, well, you wouldn't be in this spot if you change anything.
Milton, I had a chance.
Yeah.
So when I lived in Toledo, Ohio, and I was married before, and when I was there, she was a bartender.
What was his name? Oh,
Timothy. And so she was a bartender, and all the bouncers and stuff trained, and there was also and come on, man. And so all the guys trained, and then I was coming back from a deployment or whatever, and
you caught one of them banging your wife?
No, man.
Oh,
okay. And so they were like, oh, you know, I was like, oh, I wrestle. So they invited me to their gym. Bro,
were they like, I wrestled with your wife while you were away?
I grew up. Are you just going to keep going with this? And
now you guys know how it feels to constantly.
I don't do that. When do I do that? And it wasn't until later on, like literally, I was
found
like,
out that she liked anal?
What? No. And I found, did we run out of tape? Is this really going to go on?
We're actually not recording anymore?
Yeah.
We might have to cut that one out.
Yeah. And,
we're very much recording. Why no?
And what's it called? I found out that I was training with Sanji and Sal. And I was... And
you actually trained with them?
I didn't know it at the time. I saw them all the time.
Oh, you just didn't know who they were?
I didn't know who the hell they were. And I went to their gym one time, and Lovato was there. I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they trained in Toledo, and then they would like train like the bouncers and stuff like that. So like I had a chance to like learn jujitsu from some murderers.
So I mean, I always talk about the regrets.
And I never did it.
I kind of stopped asking the question.
That's a regret.
So I would tell people, like when I've asked it, it's almost a loaded question. Like, yeah, you have regrets, but you wouldn't be in this place if you didn't make all the decisions. But if I, you could
have been in a better place.
If I put regrets aside, like, okay, if I put like, well, if I didn't go through that adversity or I didn't make that choice, I wouldn't be here. My regret is I really do wish that I was doing martial arts from a young age. But when I see how my body's reacted, I know I started older. The way that my body is now, there's no way that I would be able to do this. I would have stopped 20, 30 years if I was doing martial arts from, my single digits. I was 8, 9 years old to now, 40 years. I would be a mess. I think I would be a mess.
Maybe not.
I think I would.
Not if you would.
If I found jiu-jitsu after, doing karate and find, like that, having that journey, like, wow, with my body heavy. I feel like I found it when I was supposed to. I really do feel like I found it when I was supposed to, when I was actually going to be dedicated to it. And I didn't have that dedication. I didn't find that passion when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But
can I instead of the last question?
Oh, we already know that. I wasn't even ask that one.
I have a
okay.
God damn it! I just lost the question. I was going to ask you. It was a good question. You were talking about martial arts in your body and your body break. Oh yeah. So instead of asking, do you wash or do you not wash your belt, just for us, the question is, what hurts right now?
Actually, not usually like my shoulders and back hurt, like just because it's the sitting, it's this and that, and then looking down at the phone all day because if I'm not here, I'm posting, I'm doing something on social media.
But we should ask that to like
this doesn't hurt. Like my this doesn't hurt.
The grind.
I do something weird,
right?
I slip, or if I like even just stretching back like that, then I start to feel.
Yeah. You think that'd be a good question though? Because we're interviewing.
What hurts right now?
Yeah. So
were you asking me the question, or you were saying
both,
we should add that question?
Both. Okay. Yeah, because like we talk to people that do this day in day out
for
and
decades.
BJJ after 40.
Yeah.
And even the younger, like let's say one of our youngest.
What hurts right now?
Yeah,
I do.
She's been training for over 10 years.
Funny enough, I do.
Trinity Pond, right?
Yeah, I see I follow all of them on social media, and it's not funny, but when you realize that they're human too, when you see like, oh, I'm out with an injury, or you see a cast, or you see some like a black eye or something, I'm like, oh wow, they're
sitting at home and they got like ice packs everywhere.
Yeah, like look, they're human. They bleed, they hurt,
they love it. They love it that much.
And again, like speaking to my client Brennan from BJJ Cops, him going, oh, like. Yeah, he goes like month and a half easy.
He's got it. He's had that before
multiple times. So I'm like, well, okay, black belt. I don't know how many stripes he has, if any, like how many degrees he has. I think he might be a newer black belt, and I'm sorry if he's not. But it like to hear it from somebody. It's just like, yeah, I'm where I'm supposed to be. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
that's the knee. That's like dirty, everybody gets in every
dirty secret,
right? The knee injury.
Yeah.
Okay, I got this now, and I'm, got to like Ray. I was rolling with him, and I helped him hurt his knee.
I helped him hurt his knee. Yeah,
he was out. Like right, he was in jiu-jitsu, stopped for years.
Some dude didn't tell me his shoulder was hurting that I was just rolling with. I like him. He teaches the boxing or the striking classes
at your school.
At my school. I think his name's AJ, and freaking A, man. I'm a guy that goes for shoulders, especially when I'm on top.
Shoulders.
I'm a shoulder guy. Like whatever. Well, I'm trying to hurt you. And yeah. And
you hear this, Bo?
I am. But I clamped down on his shoulder real tight, and then he just like immediately tapped me. He's like, oh, and like that we couldn't roll the rest of it. And I was just like, bro, tell somebody. If you're hurting while you're rolling, tell somebody.
Like if you have an injury. I think that people tend to be nervous about saying something because then it's perceived as you're whining.
Not me.
I mean, I've been part of like making fun of somebody that's like,
that's a joke.
Every time I roll, oh, this hurts. Listen, don't tell. My knee hurts and my arm hurts and my finger got dislocated last time. There's a million things. And it's like, okay, so then don't train or let's not roll. I
think if you're training with a fresh injury though, and you're not known as that guy, then for sure. But if you're that guy,
if you're the guy that's always got five things wrong,
also don't be. We all got something wrong. What hurts? Yeah. What hurts right now?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I like it.
What hurts right now?
Maybe I'll ask that next time.
Yeah.
So
wash your belts.
Yeah.
You dirty.
Do you want to ask? Yeah.
Dirty. Yeah. Wash your belts.
Last question is usually, do you wash your belt? Yeah, we wash our belts.
Dirty cochinos. All of you. There's no special juju in your belt. Wash it and then order a new one. Hey, support the belt industry. Tarnish your belt, destroy the thing, and buy it with code JJD.
Wash it, no big deal.
On Flow and Roll.
Yeah, right.
You get 20% off. You get it embroidered, whatever. And then send us your receipt, and then you could win some other stuff. Yeah, it's like, look at this. Just wash your belt. You could get
you
free
might win
stuff
$250 worth of gear.
and have it's like who
and win another Flow and Roll.
You're like, whose crappy blue belt is this? Oh, it's got my name on it.
All right, guys. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you. I had a ball.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us talk without a guest today. This
was fun.
Listen. We have talked about doing this, and I'd like to get a couple of the guys back in from the originals.
This is like when a married couple goes on a date.
Yeah. We finally get to talk alone.
We had no kids.
I mean, we've talked about it a long time. I mean, we both have passions about jiu-jitsu and MMA.
We're also friends.
Yeah.
You would consider me a friend. I consider you a
very good friend, man. You're a good guy. I like you.
You're okay.
I'm glad you walked into our gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
don't try to kiss me later when you say goodbye like you always do.
I consider you a ham sandwich.
A ham sandwich. Yeah.
Thank you to Neutral Zone CBD, a combat family-owned company that supports athletes and the people who love them. Neutral Zone strives to deliver clean CBD products for sports recovery in gummies, lotions, balms, roll-ons, and more. After a competition, a hard rolling session, or a tough day on the job, Neutral Zone has a product designed to help you reduce inflammation, increase cell rejuvenation, and may even help with aging joints. Visit NeutralZoneCBD.com and get 25% off your order with code JJD. And follow them on Instagram too, at MyNeutralZone. Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box has now joined the Jiu Jitsu Dummies Podcast. The BJJ box is delivered to your door filled with premium jiu-jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, and more. The crew at the BJJ box find the best in the world of jiu-jitsu and guarantee every box to be worth more than the cost. Each box includes 4 to 7 items you're going to love. Visit thebjjbox.com and use code JJD10 to get $10 off your very first box. And give them a follow on Instagram at thebjjbox. All of us here at the Jiu Jitsu Dummies would like to thank the entire crew over at Flow and Roll for their tremendous support. They're renowned for their incredible t-shirt designs, and they've got something for everyone. Flow and Roll quickly rose up to become the premier custom apparel provider for academies, big or small, throughout the United States. Shoot them an email about your custom order, flowandroll@gmail.com, and they'll be more than happy to get you hooked up. Check them out on Instagram at flow_n_roll for samples of their gi and no-gi kits. They conveniently offer flexible payment options, too. Head over to flowandroll.com for more details, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu Jitsu Dummies signature tee, now exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your online purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD. Special thanks to George Hernandez, Claims Adjuster. Have you experienced damage in your residential or commercial property in the states of Florida or Texas from flood or fire, storms, theft and vandalism, even sinkholes, just to name a few? Don't get stressed out dealing with your insurance provider. Call George Hernandez today and let the professionals get you the most compensation possible. Visit HernandezClaims.com or call 305-712-6751 to get help now. And stay in touch with them on Instagram at HernandezClaims.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys for watching and listening. Thank you, Bo. I'm Uncle Milty BJJ on Instagram. See, I didn't do the ad.
Yeah, you're doing this to yourself.
And at Jiu Jitsu Dummies, you can check us out there for all the ways to watch, listen, and support.
That's right. JJD_DJJ69. I still haven't gotten any DMs except from the one Fritz guy.
Yeah.
You know what, man? I think I'm gonna keep the name.
I think we're okay. I'm getting used to it now. It's just a thing.
It makes sense.
All right. Yeah.
And
you're a weirdo.
Yep. Everybody knows that.
At BADWERKS.
Bad Works.
At
Correct.
Bad Works.
Yeah.
On IG. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. I still can't get that right. It's
watching and listening.
I gotta like read it, but I know like I'm gonna say it. Like, why am I reading it? I'm just saying goodbye.
Thank you for consuming our product.
Thank you for watching and listening, everybody. Peace, love, jiu-jitsu. Os.